My mom's moving, so just the other night we were there, and she's just trying to pawn off all this old shit. She's like, your kids are gonna love this. My baby blanket, like my kids are not gonna want that. She's like, your daughter would like. It's gonna be so sentimental. My daughter doesn't want that. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
I found these socks under your bed, Phil, when you were in high school.
You might want to like
Just need a wash.
Hockey socks. Hockey socks.
They're standing up by themselves.
Ninja stars.
Ninja stars. Oh my god.
We all had this very similar childhood. Welcome to Oil and Whiskey, an Ironclad original. Today's guest is Velocity Restoration's Director of Custom Vehicle Operations, Cody Dabney, and CAD designer, Adam King. In person, right here in the studio.
It's a hell of a job title. It's a
long
long
one.
business card.
Yeah.
It's actually changed.
What is it now?
So every evolving.
Changes about every 6 months. Director of Production.
Director of Production. That's way fucking easier. Look.
It's as easy as that.
There.
And it's
Today's
now
guest
official.
is Velocity Restoration's Director of Production, Cody Dabney, and CAD designer, Adam King.
Mine just gets shorter.
Velocity Restorations or Velocity Modern Classics, right? Correct?
Modern Classics.
Modern Classics. Yeah. Y'all are building fucking everything. Started out Broncos, now it's Scouts and Mustangs and K5s and F100s and
F-250s.
F-250s and just general production.
Yeah, a little bit of everything.
Fucking rocking it out. Glad to have you guys, man. Welcome to Oil and Whiskey.
Pleasure, guys. Thank y'all so much for having us.
Yeah, we appreciate you
Great to see a
making
beautiful
the
shop
trip,
like
fellas.
this.
So what was it? Was it American Airlines, United? How'd you guys get here?
Yeah.
That's a private Velocity bird.
Yeah.
Good old.
In case you guys are wondering if the Bronco market's strong, these guys did not arrive
Stronger on the than the chassis market.
on public transportation.
It's true.
So what's been going on? What's today look like for you before the flight? We want to hear about all of the sunshine and rainbows and unicorn farts that go on with 2,000 employees, 1.5 million square feet, mile long production.
Basically a mini General Motors facility. It's the way we look at it.
Yeah, I'd say controlled chaos every day. What is it, Thursday? So trying to wrap up the week. Trying to get a lot of stuff to the finish line. Going over to Adam's office, asking him for 911. Hey, I need this off the mill right now. Fix something on the line. Yeah, paint's trying to wrap up.
That never happens, does it?
A 911, we have a full range, 911, 912, step it down from there. I pride myself on being able to dig ourselves out of things like that and get the customer their finished car or truck, mostly.
Yeah, I'm usually twice a week knocking on Adam's door. Like, I need this now, please.
And I got to thank you guys for doing what you do, because when I'm having a rough day and shit's going sideways and I think we've got a lot to manage here, I just think about what you guys are doing. And I'm like, either I got to quit being such a fucking pussy and not toughen up, or these guys are just that badass. Because that is a crazy operation. I got to tell you. I mean, we went there. Obviously, we've been working together for years. I've known you for a long time. But when we flew out there to the facility, I was not expecting what we saw at all. I mean, you guys got some stuff on social media, obviously, about the facility, but walking in there is fucking mind-blowing, dude. Mind-blowing.
Yeah, you get a little tired walking it.
Yeah.
That's why there's bikes and scooters.
Yeah, I know. I can't get on a scooter, though.
Well,
I busted my ass on a scooter in that place.
What? Did you really?
Oh, yeah, we have a no scooter policy.
there's a
now.
couple scooter accidents. They've since taken that away
Has
from
anybody
us.
else here ever had a scooter accident, Phil?
I have not had a scooter accident. No.
No, I haven't. No.
Oh,
As,
fuck yeah.
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 John's still recovering.
Still recovering.
I can't remember it. It was so bad. I full-blown had fucking concussion.
We almost lost Josh to a fucking Lime scooter accident in Louisville.
Yep.
It was fucking horrific.
We've told the story, but it never hurts to tell it again.
Oh,
Because
it doesn't hurt you.
we might have some new listeners. We'll just veer way off track. We're,
Oh, do tell. Do tell.
Dude,
love this story.
It's my favorite story. So 3 of us, 4 other dudes, we went down to bounce around some distilleries and stuff. So we're zipping all over Louisville, and we're on these fucking scooters. These things, they crank pretty good. And we find ourselves like off in the back roads. We're in some neighborhood and we're moving along, jumping shit. Phil's doing wheelies, and I'm like cruising along, and I look right in front of me. There's Josh. He's got his big old jacket like blowing in the breeze, and something tells him to take his hand off the handlebar and look at his phone.
Because I'm doing GPS and we're going to a restaurant.
That's what you should do.
The second he did it, got like the speed wobbles, and that thing, like, it's like Jesus came from behind him and just propelled him like up into the air. I've never seen somebody hit the fucking ground so hard. His head just like it bounced like 2-3 times off the cement, and then I hear from behind me, "Don't get up, don't get up, don't get up!" And there's Phil just cranking. He bunny hops him while he's on the ground. He's all fucked up, jacket torn, bloody, concussion. Like,
Yeah, that was a bad night.
yeah. So that'd be a liability for you on a scooter at Velocity.
It would.
Was that the only crash of the night?
No, I think that was the first.
That was the only crash. The
I
last one,
drove you off into the fucking Arbor Vitas.
that was that was an off track. All right, it wasn't a full blown
It
wreck.
was over the handlebars with a yard sale. You lost.
I
your knife, your-
I stayed on my feet. Stayed on my feet
How did everything come out of your pockets?
because it was violent, but I stayed on my feet.
Blow the shoes off.
We're going. This is after we go to dinner. I'm fucked up. I don't even eat. Like, I literally had a concussion. I was gone. Hardest I've ever gotten like knocked for a loop in my life. And then I was also pissed off that it even happened.
And everybody saw it.
Yeah, everybody saw it. Phil jumped me. So we're leaving. Now we're going to a bar. So now we're rolling. It's just starting to like get a little bit there, right? And still woozy, but we're right in the like sidewalks are all fucked up, and you're like hopping bums and you're going through, Well, there's a
Bum bongs.
they're all
Nose
we're-
pick.
it's a narrow sidewalk, and we're all rolling. Now we're into like the congested part of downtown Louisville, right? So it's narrow sidewalk. There's trees. We're all in single file line, and I'm like last. I'm right behind Jeremy, and there's a
No,
a
I was
scooter.
behind him. He was.
Oh.
I dodged it.
So there's a scooter. Yeah, you were. So Phil's in the middle. So there's a scooter. Somebody just left, right? You just drop them things anywhere. So it's standing there on its kickstand. I see Jeremy go by and he kicks it, and it goes dunk, 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 and it comes back over. And Phil, he just dodges it, and it's coming down in front of me all the way down. So it like takes out a knee, and I step off, and yeah, it was bad. I was just like, fuck these scooters.
Nancy
Fuck
Kerrigan,
these
yeah.
scooters.
Something so simple can fuck you up.
Yeah.
They shouldn't. I'm telling you what, they shouldn't be allowed.
Scooters and golf carts. I'd like
Yeah.
to see the statistics. I wish we could pull that up, but man, there's got to be more serious injuries and probably deaths on those two than high-speed vehicles.
Golf cart's is always a guillotine. It's always a take the head off.
Yeah, I almost killed my wife in a golf cart. You remember that?
Yeah.
Fucking KO'd her. Dude,
Jumping it.
no, I was just ripping down the driveway. She just wasn't prepared for the G-forces of an off-camber turn.
Threw her out.
She goes fucking sailing out the side of it.
Also
right on-
bounced.
Yeah, it bounced off her head. She's knocked out cold. I've never seen anybody like it was. At first, it was funny because she's wearing pajamas and you just see this like legs, head, hair, legs, head, hair, and then she didn't move at all. So I kind of freaked out a little bit.
Babe, you okay?
Kick her with
Yeah.
your foot.
I kind of like scoop her up, blood everywhere. That took some staples. And then when you go to the hospital with a wife with a head injury, and it's like the
Sir,
husband there.
let me see your knuckles.
Yeah. They like ask a lot of questions, and it was a golf cart.
One of the nurses like,
Sure.
bet she learned her lesson, didn't she?
You better speak up.
Did you have to tell her anything again? No, I done told her once.
There's probably been more hold my beer stories from golf carts than you could possibly imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially out on like the dunes that they're like are at. The golf course is basically just.
Yeah.
Who thought that was a good idea? Let's put a bunch of like jumps.
I think there's several
I think it's the
more
point.
mature people at golf than us.
You haven't been to many golf courses.
I have not, but I just assumed.
Yeah.
I would be kicked out in the first hour.
Yeah, that's just a drunk fest.
Yeah, let's talk about Broncos.
Yeah, let's talk about Broncos. Well, before we get into Broncos, so I want to hear like a little bit about y'all's background before you even got to where we're at now in the master facility. We'll start with you, Adam.
Velocity as a whole, or my career?
No, your career, man. How did
This can go on for a while.
was this like etch-a-sketch stuff? You just were like to it, and you're like, you know what, I could.
Is it like numbers
So-
on the chalkboard? You saw them, you're like fucking solving
Goodwill
equations.
That lady in that meme. So I grew up with my dad building offshore sport fishing boats. He started running. We moved down from North Carolina to Orange Beach, Alabama. Started working with boats, and I was drawing boats at 5 years old. Then the vice president of that company was buying a car, a Willis truck from Lafayette, Louisiana, for like $250. I just so happened to have $400 at the time. And it's an old oil lease guy buying all these cars. I went and got a 47 Chevy Stylemaster, bring it back, and start grinding all the rust off and priming over it with some Imron or whatever. And long story short, boat company closed down, cars sitting behind the shop. Never see it again, go back to the shop, and it's been towed off. End up with a 78 Nova, the Disco Novas, and Hurricane Ivan hit Pensacola, and I'm out of senior year of high school for a month. We're chopping down trees, and I'm buying a camshaft for my 305. So it's the whole redneck story. And moved to Houston to go to School of Automotive Machinists. Start working in a top flight Corvette restoration facility, and then after that, going to work on Miatas, replacing body panels.
No shit.
Yeah,
Fucking full-fledged race car builder.
I
I was not aware.
I wonder if you ever swapped any panels, anything you traded paint with.
I don't know.
I don't want to derail too much, but I'll forget if we don't stop here. You talked about Alabama and a Nova and a 305. You only talked about putting a cam in it, but did that motor ever come out of that car? Fully out of the Nova? Did the motor
Yeah.
ever come out? How did please tell, how did you pull that motor?
That's a chain hoist over the elk tree.
Stop it. I want to. It's got to. Please tell me it was a cherry picker.
it was a legit cherry picker.
All right, good.
It,
So
it wasn't an oak tree.
I was scared. Yeah, just Alabama and Nova. We got to. We got to redeem
We got a
ourselves.
very
We
vivid
were.
picture painted.
This was in Pensacola with the Nova.
Okay. Yeah, if it was Alabama, it would definitely been a tree.
And so working restoring Corvettes, replacing body panels on race Miatas, and graduate School of Automotive Machinist, go to work at Ferrea Racing Components, designing rocker arms and valves, building Trans Am engines. Go do oil and gas type work with some SpaceX and Blue Origin mixed in, machining in Houston. And I'm ready to get back to Pensacola, miss the beach and all my friends and everything. And I've got a good friend that works at Velocity. They're posting that they're building some Broncos over there. So since I've been there in over 3 years, it has probably quadrupled. So that's the long
solely
story
on your
longer.
shoulders there, the quadrupling in size since you came aboard.
I mean,
Connect the dots.
could be the pivotal point.
Yeah, you put that on your resume when it goes south.
Yeah.
You know, when you leave, that's quadrupled velocity.
Since I was there.
Yeah.
You can word it the right way. About this? Go back to the sport fishing boats. What kind of boats were they building?
So he started at Buddy Davis in
Shit.
Outer Banks in North Carolina, and then the company he was running was Oyster Bay, which is like 24-foot center consoles, but tumble home of a Outer Banks type boat, teak and everything.
Yeah, those are badass boats. I didn't know they went out of business.
Yeah.
Sweet.
That's a big job, dude. What, like, was he involved in any of the sport fisherman stuff?
Yeah. Came down from Ohio to the Outer Banks in like the late 70s, fishing mate, and then in the wintertime you go to work at the boatyard and just started started from there, painting them to fully framing them out to the whole outfit, other than upholstery, I'd say.
Oh yeah.
Boats are a whole different deal.
Yeah.
Still takes the craftsmanship and attention to detail that restoring or building cars takes.
You ain't got to do any alignments or
Nah,
Yeah, you
tire
got-
rotations.
you got
Nothing.
nothing's
rudders,
level.
prop
Nothing.
shafts and stuff. That didn't you see that one? What was that, like $10 million sport fisherman that was brand new? They were trying to deliver, lost a motor or a prop shaft or something, and it was
Beached?
Yeah, it was beached off of like Fort Lauderdale or Hollywood
It was
Beach.
like a 90-foot Viking.
Yeah, that's fucking
It
ugly.
just floated right onto the beach, and then a whole big operation to move that thing.
That'd suck.
Yeah, I think it took them like 2 weeks to get it out or something.
Yeah.
It was pretty crazy.
Fuck. What about you?
Probably about 9-10 years old. You know, I was that kid that was always taking shit apart, even when I had toys. Very young age. Mom had to hide all the screwdrivers and shit because I'd just blow everything apart. I want to know how it worked.
That's it.
But so young, couldn't put the shit back together, so all your toys are fucking blown out everywhere. So you get all the cheap crap that isn't cool. So learned the hard way not to take my toys apart. But yeah, working on bicycles, go-karts, anything I could get my hands on. And then my dad was a painter at one time in his life, so he got a wild bug at one point, got a 49 Ford F100 and just wanted to tinker with it. And we did light restoration work, but learned that whole light body work, paint. Like you remember the like the glass bottles with the little aerosol dude that screwed on top and you put your paint in. Like we were painting with
I think
those,
is what it was.
Yeah. So learn kind of past spray can, but to the Prevo thing. Was learning how to, you know, we were polishing bolts on a bench grinder, you know, just really learning how to do light restoration work. And then parents got hard up for money, had to sell that truck, and flash forward into high school. We had an auto mechanics class where I went to school, so you could actually like pull your vehicle in for like a whole class, work on it, do shit to it, screw it up, fuck somebody else's shit up
On purpose.
You know, so just always wanted to build something, didn't know where life was going to take me. Straight out of high school, landed at a body shop washing cars. I knew I wanted to probably be a painter, somehow be involved in it, and that was my way in.
So you looked for a way in. You didn't want to just go in and be the painter.
Yeah, I asked, you know, but
I thought that's the way it goes. No.
Bring in the gun and
Yeah.
I can spray. I'm ready to spray. What have you
Just
sprayed
kinda
before? Just give me a shot.
Point being, so
Not that-
you were ambitious. You started at the bottom.
I do have a similar
you're trying to
story.
get your
We'll
foot.
get into that.
You were trying to get your foot in the door and work your way up. Huh?
Yeah. I washed cars for probably about a year, and then I guess the next bump from that was like a trim out position. So we painted the backs of hoods and jams and all the shit nobody's seen or cared about. So somehow got into that next level, and that took me into prep, and that took me into body work. And so it was within a collision shop for a couple of years, and you know, it was flat rate work, and you know how that goes. It just all of a sudden work dried up. I was sitting on a bucket, not making any money. There's a local motorcycle shop that opened up, and they did a lot of like salvage bikes, repairs, outside paint work, stuff like that. It's like, all right, this could be cool. I'm going there, and the guy didn't know how to run a business. Super cool place, but ended up, you know, going under within about a year. So then I'm on my own, working in this guy's shop, kind of just doing my own thing. I'm 22, 23 years old, just making enough money to pay rent and drink beer. Then I somehow got an opportunity through a tool guy. I think it was a Mac tool guy. And he called me up and said, hey, this restoration shop's looking for a painter. It's a local shop in town. I knew who they were. And I wasn't that good at the time. I was an amateur, decent painter at best. Maybe done 2 all-overs that looked like shit, you know, and so
Got to spray that run out.
Yeah. So he said, hey, man, go to the shop, check them out, give them a call. So they're like, yeah, you can paint. I was like, yeah, I can paint. I'm fucking good.
The best.
It's like, I'm fucking badass. And he's like, okay, we got one ready to paint first day you start. And I was like, fuck.
This one right here.
Yeah, and you know, what's crazy was a Bronco.
3-stage, 2-tone.
Yeah. It ended up being pretty simple. It was crazy. It was a Bronco, you know, because I worked there before Velocity.
That's wild.
Yeah, ended up painting it, killing it, just like fake it till you make it type thing. And then just Next one. Got my education in that shop. Probably about 10 years, hot rods. A lot of Tri-5s, big Mopar shop. Did a lot of Cudas, Charger 500s, Hemi cars.
Did you have to cut and buff that first one, or you just have to spray it?
Oh, yeah. It actually looked good. Yeah. And I didn't know how to cut and buff for shit either. Really? Like, here, time to buff it. I'm like, all right.
Where's like the stuff at?
All right, so this one's counterclockwise. All right, I've never used one of these before. You get the hang of this one.
Like, it needs to dry and gas out for about a week so I can go home and YouTube this shit.
That was YouTube
Before YouTube, yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty early on, but yeah, I was like, I got to go home and figure this shit out, and came back and killed it, and just got a good education there. It was getting really boring. The owner never really wanted to go any further with the business. I remember while I was
he
working
was the
there.
smart one.
And that was when pro touring was really kicking off, like protouring.com. Lived on that website back in the day.
Yeah.
It's when you were on forums. I think that was the shit. It was back before,
Pro touring and
Before
Let
Photo
LG.
Bucket killed all the forums.
yeah.
Dude, I still get notifications they're going to cancel my photo bucket.
When they just deactivated already, for fuck's sake. It's like
please.
every day.
There's got to be there needs to be a Netflix documentary about the
That's like
aftermath.
That's like the fire festival. I feel
Photo
like
Bucket deciding to start charging because it killed the internet.
Yeah.
All the data that's gone from that is like lateralg.net gone.
Yeah, I wonder if
Pirate 4x4.
If
Instagram or Facebook had anything to do with that. Because at that point,
That was MySpace that had something to do with that, and MySpace goes away, Photo Bucket went away. That's what people use that shit for.
It seems about
Yeah,
right.
Facebook. Yeah, about the time it came on, you didn't need something to upload your photos anymore. You just
they force and you don't need forums when you've got Instagram or wherever all the pictures. I've always been interested in the reasoning, the mentality. Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
sure
Forums, pro touring's kicking off.
Yeah,
like this shit's fucking badass. I don't want to do restorations anymore.
Lived it, man. I remember somehow we got the. You remember the build books that came out?
Oh, yeah.
A Ring Brothers
those
book
were
that
sick,
showed
dude.
up one day, and I was like, "Who the fuck are these guys?"
It was in black and white.
Who are
probably.
those guys? Ring Brothers?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to see if I can get that one.
Need to look 'em
I got
up.
most of them. I never got that one.
But yeah, I opened it up and was
It's
just
probably
like,
on microfiche.
They got fucking newspaper.
Hear ye, hear ye.
Sir Microphone and Sir Microphone.
But yeah, I opened it up and just looked at like how badass fabrication was, and like just how real cars were built. And we weren't doing it to that level. We were using just very primitive chassis and good paint jobs, but just weren't at that level. And I was like, how do I get to that level? Where can I go? Then I met Stuart through mutual friends on a tubing trip. Got crap faced. Just talked about cars, and he had just started, and I'd been working in another shop for 10 years, and it's just like, no, I'm not.
Y'all know what tubing trip is? You know what tubing?
I know.
Y'all do tubing up here?
No. They got like lazy rivers. You go up to like Wisconsin Dells, float around.
No, these
No,
are
we
like,
got to get y'all
Float
down
around
for
in a bunch of like
gotta get y'all
overweight
down.
people's
no, these are
piss.
these are river tubing trips,
Okay.
camping tubing trips.
Yeah, the whole like southern river lifestyle. I feel like I missed out on that tremendously.
A lot of shit goes down on the riverbanks.
Yeah.
Florida Fish and Wildlife walked out into the river one time. It was 4 days before my 21st birthday, and I got a court date for drinking underage.
Oh, that's some bullshit.
Should be a little window.
Community service all the way home.
Did you made them come get you?
Yeah.
I would have done the
No,
same
I
thing.
mean they had their little John boat, and we're just walking out picking people. And I was lucky enough.
I'm not even touching U.S. soil right now.
International waters out here.
Dude, can you paint that picture for me? Those Marlboro Reds, the jean shorts.
It wouldn't the Marble Red. It's been Newport since the day I lit a cigarette.
No, I'm talking about the
now that
like the little river rats.
that's lake trash and river rats. That's my unfortunate. That's my Achilles heel right there. That, just a little bit of Walmart feet and some dirty knees, and oh my goodness. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
If you want to people watch, yeah, River Life.
Yeah.
It's a
Southern Pride.
yeah, Marlboro Reds in the back pocket, and
In a Ziploc.
yeah,
My cigarettes! Get my cigarettes! I broke my cigarette!
That leather pouch that grandma had that you snap together.
rebel flag bikini top that you know's coming off before the sun goes down for no reason whatsoever. It's just coming off. Yeah, yep. A lot of Hank Williams Jr. playing.
Yeah, y'all got to come down for a tubing trip. We'll show y'all how to do it.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Middle of summer on a
We're
holiday.
doing. I've got it set up. I'm taking them to Talladega.
Shit.
We're camping on the infield.
That'll give you a
for the
taste
whole
of it.
weekend.
That'll give you a taste of what that life looks
Taste?
Yeah, right.
We're going all the way to the top. We're going all the way to the
I
top.
stayed in a bus in Turn 4 at Texas Speedway. That's the only NASCAR race I've ever been to, and it's a life changer.
Oh, you've never been to Talladega?
No.
I've never been.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
All right, everybody's coming. It's like the opportunity to go back in time to Woodstock
Hell yeah.
with countries.
Let's do it.
I'm telling you, you cannot prepare yourself for what y'all are going to see.
I'm ready.
There's
You've
no
been
way to
building
prepare
this up. That's that whole like region of the country. There, like to me, there's never been a reason, other than to come see you guys. Like, Florida might as well be an island, right? Just like Miami and then
It's
the
not,
Keys.
though. An island
right?
has got water all the way around.
That's what I'm saying. It might as well be because that whole
peninsula.
fucking region. Like, I don't even know what. Like, I've never spent any time in like southern Alabama.
Well,
Georgia.
Talladega, when there's not a race going on, there's
Daytona.
no reason to be there.
Yeah.
Absolutely no reason. But race weekend, outside the track, inside the track, I mean, it's a city that just is created out of nothing. And then infield, like Friday night and Saturday night, I'm telling you what, the homemade buses and contraptions and walk on, like these villages, they got crazy concerts. But I don't know if it still is. It's probably been 10 years since the last time I've been. We used to go every single year, both races, and we'd camp in the infield all the time. But there's an infatuation with kiddie pools, right? And there's kiddie pools everywhere, but they're all filled with different shit all the time. Some of them are just filled with ice and beer. Some of them are filled with Jello. Some of them got stripper poles in the middle, filled with whipped cream. And it's just kiddie pools everywhere, and all different walks of life. It's fucking party.
Back to golf carts. Golf carts with a platform and a stripper pole.
Yeah.
That sounds dangerous.
It's a fucking party. It's nuts.
When is it?
Yep.
About that time.
We'll probably go to the
Spring
early
and
race.
fall.
Probably go to the spring race.
Let's do it.
It's
already
already
coming up, right?
It's already set up. We got passes. We got.
We need
RV,
like a
we got
vehicle. We have an
things.
RV.
We got-
Fuck's got an RV?
It's already
We're good.
We're procuring one. We're procuring
We're
one.
like renting a school bus and
One
No,
$800.
we need like a 1985 Holiday Rambler.
Oh yeah.
That'd be
the
cool.
Winnebago with the big blunt nose.
Straight trash. Yeah, if you're gonna do it right. I mean, come on
Polyester.
now.
We
does
got like,
McPhee still have the
3 different pit passes?
rings Winnebago? I don't know.
oh, that'd be cool.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Pit passes.
We got pit passes, multiple pit passes.
Dude, you would be the king shit with that Ring Brothers
Just
winning out there.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Kings of
Yeah,
Talladega.
I don't know where that fucker
Do you
ended up.
remember when that thing debuted in Columbus?
Oh yeah, I remember. There's a lot of pictures of when it debuted at Columbus. Incriminating pictures.
That was quite the time.
Yeah.
All right, so we derailed. Sorry, tubing. You met Stuart on a tubing trip. I remembered.
Let's do it on a tubing trip. Just wasn't interested at the time. Good talk, and then a couple years go by, and I run into his business partner Brandon on another tubing trip. Surprisingly, we're like, "Hey, come see the shop. Hey, we're doing bigger things," and just wasn't working out. And then finally came to look at their shop one day, and they had something there. He wanted me to paint it for him, so. All right, I'll start painting for you. So I was painting for them at night while I was working at the other shop. So I'd go down there, I don't know, maybe twice a month or something, paint a truck for them. They were mind blown. Stuart was, and like, hey, this is awesome paint. They hadn't seen it before. I don't think they could even afford it up to that point. and I ended up breaking my arm, broke it in 6 places. And I was
It's a hell of a paint job.
How did you do that?
just shit faced on a motorcycle.
On the street?
Oh yeah, doing probably 100 miles an hour. Went to go on the off ramp and went straight. So went into a drainage ditch.
Is that arm that's got the line through the middle of your tattoo?
So I got this
That's
cool looking dude right here.
Oh shit!
You want to touch it?
No, I'm
Go
good.
ahead.
That's wild.
Don't be a girl.
It looks like you got a little mouse in there or something.
Oh, that's a party trick.
You want to touch it?
Probably kills it on the river.
So yeah, I ended up breaking my arm. It put me out for, I don't know, 6 months or so. And then he's hitting me up. Hey, really need you to come. And finally we come to agreement. I don't know, it was like a year and a half, just going back and forth. And I moved into this like 20,000 square foot shop. And that was a big deal to me. I was like, man, this is okay. They're doing something. So ended up going in there, and first day he hired me, and I walked in there, and I eat these words almost every day. It's like, man, I've been building cars for 10 years, I acted like I was everything. And I was like, I don't think this Bronco thing is going to be anything. I was like, I'll ride this train till the wheels falls off, but I don't see Broncos getting as big as you think they do. And shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But once a year we talk about that. I'm like,
They had the vision of that, huh?
yeah.
To some extent, they couldn't have known that it'd be as big as it is now, right?
It just was I think a gut instinct and a little bit of passion. And, Stuart wound up with a Bronco, I think in a divorce. Him and Brandon built it, I think with just a couple $1,000, just a simple like, hey, let's paint the engine bay and fluff it up a little bit, flip it on eBay. And they're like, oh shit, hey, let's do another one. So got another one, and they're like, sold it, made some money. And they're like, I think we got a business here. So that's when they, really just started to send it. And, they worked on a lot of stuff in between. They do some custom jobs. They do trucks, whatever they could get their hands on to try and actually grow the name and the brand. And just actually Stuart was out there saying it on stuff. Brandon was working on stuff. They were in it,
What year did you come on? What, 2015?
Yeah, 15. So yeah, they just worked their way up to, they always wanted to do Broncos, and then it just was all these other things just to make the business keep happening and growing. So, when I came on, I brought knowledge of an actual restoration shop, of a correct process of how to do a lot of things, not an expert at everything, but I was an expert at paint and body at the time. And, that's what helps us take paint jobs to the next level. And, hey, we got good paint. Now this has to look good. Now this has to look good. Brought on the right guys that had the right talent. Once we brought guys like Adam on, it was game on. Up until he came in, it's just, we were all at that point of just wishing you had a CNC machine.
Sure.
Man, I just
Quadrupled in size. So.
Yeah. Just
Typing up my resume now.
yeah, just wishing you could make something, and you'd already paid a couple people to make some parts for you, and we somehow get Adam through just guys working at the shop, and he brings in this little Tormach, this little like home 3-axis. Was it 3-axis?
Yeah. We had a 4th axis for it, but never installed it.
Yeah. So he brings in this little 3-axis, and it's it's just a little like hobby machine. I mean, it does some good work, but at the end of the day, we're like, well, I mean, to us, it was like a fucking NASA landed a spaceship. We're like, holy shit.
That's a huge leap when you get into like machining something. From going from not machining to we're machining. That's a big fucking deal.
Yeah. And it's everybody thinks like, hey man, just make me this. I need this right now.
All of a sudden,
just hit print. He's like, fuck no, it takes all day to make this.
Hit enter F2. I don't give a fuck. Just whatever button you hit.
it's that green button.
Yeah, and so then what's crazy, up until that point where you can machine parts, you've been making little brackets and cutting shit and welding stuff together forever. And it's this, then once there's a CNC machine in the shop, then everybody forgets how to fabricate shit.
No.
You're just not running your shop right.
He said no.
It should get a laser table or plasma table in.
I mean, it's CNC, right? But yeah, the problem is it's a crutch, but it also changes the way you think, and the quality is so much better. So you can't fault anyone for it, because like fuck yeah, like a nice laser cut bracket with the some windows and a big swoopy inner curve and like perfect holes.
Yeah,
it's
but
a lot
when
better.
we get to the point where like, can we fit this chassis in there to drill this 1/2-inch hole?
Yeah.
Like that's
Or when it's like, when it's like I need a 2-inch by 2-inch 10-gauge square, and I need 3 of them.
oh. If
Well,
only there was a shear.
there's a plate there that's got one straight edge on it. You can, yeah.
But yeah, when we could start making parts, it was just, and then you get to the other side of you don't realize how long shit takes. Like we want this, and then you got to design it, and you got to put it in CAD, then you got to rough it out, and it's just like, hey man, why isn't this done yet?
Yeah.
This dude's been with us for like 3 weeks, and we're like, why haven't you just redesigned every part on this truck and like have it in fucking billet? You know, you just got to learn, you got to understand it, you know. So that brought on just this huge turn for us.
Was that
Yeah,
about
so-
the time when you guys came out to Columbus? I know you guys, because it seemed like there was a change there. You showed up at Columbus, had a bunch of kick-ass displays loaded with billet parts. The truck I started seeing like door handles, mirrors,
That
hinges.
was probably a year in
Yeah.
of me being there.
Okay.
Yes.
Another thing for the resume. That's
Yeah,
complete restructuring,
Double by this
redesign.
That was, we had moved into the new facility that y'all saw by then.
yeah, and it's one of those things that it just morphed. You know, we'd always, how do we separate ourselves from everybody else? You got to have a look, you got to have a brand. At the time, you know, it was starting to get popular. Everybody was building Broncos, and that's all we were building. It's just how do we make ourselves different? And we just knew we've got to make our own parts. We've got to look different. We've got to be better. But then how do you create a part to make it better? You know, I'm sure y'all face that every day.
Sure.
And it's, you know, so a year in the making and was on the back end of what y'all seen, you know. So hey, we need all this stuff and let's develop it and let's showcase it and get it out there. And
How many of the billet parts are y'all selling not on the builds now, like with door handles stuff?
Yeah, we've got into that. Just realized how challenging it is, like just the boxing of it, the presentation of it.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's $1,000 set of door handles, and is it janky for it to show up in like a vacuum sealed package? Do you want this like
Yes.
$50 magnetic box and like you've got 30 different parts? How do you put it together? And it was just, you got to have YouTube videos, you got to have instructions. It's like this big thing you don't think about. It's like, yeah, let's just fucking sell billet parts, and it's a big deal. You know, it's a lot of shit. So once we realized just how much bandwidth it took to really put that together,
Sure.
we kind of backed off and, hey, we'll approach this when we got time.
It's funny you bring that up because, I mean, guys, like what you guys have done, it's crazy, right? Anybody from the outside looking in is like, Jesus Christ, these guys have created they're like an OEM manufacturer. I think guys probably look at what we're doing here and they're like, Jesus Christ, they're cranking chassis. This is like a chassis manufacturer. And we both share a common problem in that we can CNC a lot of really cool stuff, but putting it in a package, it's like it's a fucking challenge, dude.
It's like smart. Why can't we figure out how to put it on a motherfucking box and print out some instructions?
It's a gift wrapping in a newspaper. And
Taking it to the next level of presenting it in product form, it's tricky, right? It's definitely
It's
a
a skill
challenge.
set in and of its own.
And the price, like justifying the price for that individual part when you buy it on its own versus when it's just wrapped up in a whole truck. Like the trucks, they're not cheap, but at the end of the day, you look at it, it's like it's a bargain.
Some of all its parts.
Yeah, nobody picks out that one piece and be like, well, if we can knock that off, I could save $1,000.
yeah, when you're check boxing $10,000 in billet parts as opposed to you writing a check to mail order you $10,000 in parts for your personal truck, it's a completely different
Yeah.
deal.
Drastically different way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just, hey, wanting to sell billet parts, we're like, hey, this is a huge challenge. You know, it's not just off the shelf. And then we've got, you know, we got one 5-axis, not really a production machine. It's more of a prototyping machine. So once we realize, hey, we got to keep up with what we've got and we got to sell to the public. We're just like, hey, we're probably just not ready for this. I think we're gearing up for that. We've got some stuff on the back end going on. Just a lot more bulk and stock now. Just keep running, never stop. But yeah, I think we got a plan to be able to sell billet. I think we got some cool stuff that makes Bronco F-Series world a little better, for sure.
How do you guys handle the staffing of all of your assembly line stuff? You've got it's interesting you mentioned, you know, your background in paint and body, because that was one of the things, one of the many things that stood out was the paint and body shop there at the facility, and how how well organized it was, and especially doing that high level of quality at that level of production, and staffing for all of those unique skill sets. Obviously, a lot of stuff you've got set up is, on the assembly line things, you can decompartmentalize and subdivide and be like, all right, here's the bolts, here's the holes, you're going to do these things. Those guys don't necessarily have to be gearheads or long-term car guys, right? But then there is stuff in the metal fab shop, in the paint shop, that are way more specialized. I mean, you're well over 125 employees, and you've grown also at a rapid pace. It's not like you had a few guys this year, and you had a few guys this year, and you had a few guys this year.
Skilled individuals.
You're adding a lot of guys in a very quick time, guys and girls. How does that process, from the HR to hiring? That was
very inclusive. Nicely done, Josh. That was for you. You hear that? Caught yourself there and you're being inclusive.
I am. It's 2024.
Yeah. I keep going.
We do have women. We have women on the assembly line and in paint.
Yeah. Very diverse. 125 people. I mean, that's anywhere from sales to parts to HR, executives, people on the floor. I think we got about 80 guys on the floor. It's been a fun ride because a lot of training, especially when I was just in the body shop. I've probably trained hundreds of people over the years, and you can tell when you hire that person usually within hours.
When he's saying the same shit you did, be like, oh fuck yeah, I'll paint that thing.
Yeah.
I said that. Been through this.
It's just if he says it with conviction, it's like the way he says it, because it could be good or bad.
Yeah, and you can usually tell. I can usually tell within hours if somebody's got it. Like, hey, they're gonna make it. They fit this culture. They got the hustle. They got the drive. They can understand. But yeah, training. A lot of training going on. Had to bring in a lot of people with just zero. You've got to really just got to read them and see if they've got the good head on their shoulders. Can they work hard? Can they work with their hands? They understand things. But some of our best guys now had never touched bodywork, metal assembly in their life. So. It's easier to train. You're doing the same thing over and over. It's just kind of changing options, but very complex to get the culture that we need of, hey, it's anywhere between 40 and 60 hours a week. This truck has to rotate in so many days. It has to be this amount of quality. Not everybody's fit for that. They're just not. And the, younger generation now is a little bit tougher to.
What is what now? The younger generation is what? Expand on that a little bit.
It's challenging, to say the least. There's some good kids out there that, they wake up every day and they do want to be a part of something bigger, but then there's the part that's not.
It's interesting. You talk about the kids, and you said something, both of you nodded when he was talking about, in high school, the vocational.
Yep.
I
think I was the last of shop classes probably.
Well, I was in your current area now, in the Pensacola area, Orange Beach and all that stuff, do they have any shop classes in any high schools?
I don't know. It was like we had actual tools, bandsaws, skill saws. We used to race belt sanders off of the table.
And it was, I remember, well, middle school wise, I remember, unfortunately, I had a different little path in high school. Went to some schools that didn't offer those kind of programs.
They were just short at bars on the table.
we were just about to learn stamping steel.
This is a license plate.
But it was at some of the bigger schools, and stuff like that. And it was that point, it was kind of shifting where it was kind of started to be looked down upon and stuff. Now, and my son's 17, and in high school around here, they have an off-site program that a couple of different high schools can feed to, but they approach it so poorly, and it's looked down upon so bad because an actual short bus shows up to pick you up and take you away to this program, and it appears like you can't fit into normal high school, so we're going to take all these kids and learn the trade, which it sucks because there's probably some really good teachers and they're learning some really great trades, but they don't present the message in the right way. It's not fucking cool. It's not on site. It's not promoted like any of the other sports teams or any. I'm a huge football fan, right? 99% of those fucking shitty ass snot-nosed kids that are playing so hard at high school football or whatever are never going to do that for a fucking living. And we're doing all of that effort to promote that, right? And not anything for the trades. And I was asking specifically around your area, and then also was going to get into, do you guys do anything internship-wise for any of the younger guys coming in? And how, if you do, how's that worked out?
Yeah, so going back to getting the right culture, you know, not everybody's fit. I think we're finally at a point that all the guys we have, and you know, even the women on the floor, they fit our culture. They fit what the velocity idea is in the culture and where we want to go and our goals for the years and, you know, what we're going to do. And they've got that special kind of crazy. We all know it takes that to do what we do. You know, in this industry, it's just not for everybody. But yeah, we had a training program about a year ago that we launched. I think we had over 200 applicants just for the body shop. Wow. So I think we took on, I don't know, maybe about 12 to 14 guys. There were some girls in there too. And hey, we're going to only train for about 6 to 8 weeks. We're just going to train you. We put random panels out there, taught them how to do body work, how to prep, how to just, you know, from stripping the E-coat all the way up to painting the part. And, you know, along the way, if you weren't cutting it, you just got cut. You know, we dwindle it down to like 2 guys. That's
awesome.
At the end of that training program. And, you know, we still got some of those people. But, you know, they had to prove themselves along the way. But the awesome part for them is they were getting paid. You know, they were getting paid to try and make it. It wasn't just show up and have tryouts, you know, so. When
they came in and you started watching them work, were you like immediately able to pick those 2? Like, was it apparent at the beginning, or were you like, oh, these kids they just got it as they went and evolved? Or you're like, 75% of them suck. These 2 are probably going to be good.
Yeah, our body shop manager, Dangler, I kind of helped create the program and kind of turned it over to him. You know, I basically wrote the process and then like, here, this is what we're going to do. And, you know, he was all about it. But yes, absolutely. Within days, you could say, okay, this guy has the mindset for it. Or, you know, she can pick it up. Or
are you looking at work ethic and how they attack something versus the actual skill set they came in with?
Yeah, I look for everything. You know, just how they listen to you, how they interpret information, how quick they move. You know, you got the guy that just, you know, and you got the guy that's just hustle back and forth. You can just see it. You just want that package. If you can get the package, they might not have something that, you know, is great, but you know you can get them there.
You can train them on the skills, but they got to have the mindset to make it happen.
The aptitude. And it was, I mean, we were grading them. You know, it was based on where they were at work on time. Did they come back from their break on time? Could they clock in correctly? It's all the things you need in an employee, you know, so it wasn't just, okay, you can sand body filler, you're good to go. No, it was everything. And they had to pass those things to make it. But yeah, it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, that's pretty badass. It seems like it's an issue with, like, I don't think that the youth is really being trained on how to pursue a job, right? Like, we get a lot of emails from guys looking for internships, and you never get, nobody's ever like persistent, right? There's never a follow-up email. There's never anybody that actually picks up the phone and calls. It's like just a vague ass.
There's a few, but the few ones are the ones we've hired. The ones that won't stop.
The percentage of that is probably in the single digits.
100%.
Right?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
And I think somebody needs to communicate that, right? Because if somebody's reaching out, number one, like most places aren't super interested in interns, right? So if you're an intern, like, dude, push your way, get your ass.
Absolutely.
Figure out a way to get yourself in the door rather than just sending the email. It's like the fucking Adam Sandler, like searching for the puppy, right? You get your fucking ass out there and you find that fucking dog. You don't just look around, you know, for a few minutes and then give up.
Right? Don't you think that would be a byproduct of also training them how to do a particular career, because they would be so fucking passionate about it then that they would have to go dig. They would have to go dig. I don't know. I'm beginning with my son. He's so big into the detailing thing now, right? And he's searching out like every video that there is. He's buying all these tools. He's doing this mobile detailing thing. He's fucking cranking it. He's probably making more money than fucking me now. Like he's rolling, right? He's really has found his passion, right? Whether he does it forever, right now, that's his passion. There's a place like 20 minutes south of us that does all the detailing supply stuff.
Give him a plug. Give the kid a plug. What's his Instagram?
Blazes Mobile Detailing, BMDD. Yeah.
Is there an underscore in there anyway?
BMD. Oh, we'll find. I'll pull it up. And we'll pull up the Instagram. But the point with this is, like, he's so hungry for information, right? And he's got another kid in school that he's paying that did his website. He's got another kid that he's paying that does all the photography that goes with him on all this stuff. He's got another kid that he's paying to go and help him on these jobs, right? So he's creating this whole thing, and they all are so hungry to do it. So the one kid's wanting to try to find something that he can do in high school to learn more about photography. The other kid's wanting to learn more about graphic design. The other kid's wanting to learn more about detailing along with my son, right? And there's nothing available in the high school. They're both juniors. They're all about to be seniors, right? And they're looking at the next year as just hell, because it's all things that they're going to be learning that they don't want, they're not interested in. And there's no outlet for them. They found a place that sells all the detailing supplies, that does summer classes on detailing. They want to learn how to window tint. They want to learn how to wrap cars. They want to learn how to all of this stuff. And they're so hungry for it, right? And I can't imagine that it's just this little group of kids. It's got to be this way all over the country. We've talked about it before in other aspects of the pendulum swings, right? And I think that in a lot of the kids nowadays, the pendulum is swinging away from the last 10 years of not being interested in anything that we've been interested in.
You don't think he's not applying like those advanced calculus formulas and shit to when he's like mixing?
Not when you got a fucking iPhone. You don't have to worry about any math.
That's weird. So none of like the science stuff. He's not using any of that like molecular.
No.
So he's looking. He's basically
nanotechnology is probably.
He's wanting to continue to go to school to be trained to be a better employee or learn a trade.
That's Mike
100%.
Rowe's whole thing.
Yes.
Blue collar jobs, vocations. Stop telling people they need to be a doctor or a lawyer.
Yeah. Right.
There's like a meme where the teacher's telling her son, looking at a garbage man, and you don't want to do that. That's a dirty job. And doesn't know that he makes more money, has a better pension, has better benefits than she does by far.
Yeah.
Well, we've talked about it for years with either being on SEMA, HRIA, shops, hanging out, having beers in Columbus. All the shops say the same thing, right? We do it. The younger generation, we can't find any good help. We can't find any of the new guys. We've all bitched about the same thing for fucking 20 years, bitched about it, right? And we've never done a fucking thing about it. The entire industry hasn't. Kindig's fucking doing it. 100% he's doing it. HRIA and all their members and all that kind of shit, whatever, they haven't done fucking anything for it. They haven't done a damn thing about trying to work with whatever. And us as the shops haven't done anything either. And I don't know what we can do, but I think that there's got to be something. A shop, you're doing the training sessions, right? There's so many shops that are large enough, us included, stuff like that, that there's got to be a way to somehow right the ship, especially when there's organizations that we pay membership fees to specifically to do this. And we've always been bitching about it that the kids aren't interested. The kids are not interested in this. They're interested in TikTok. I think that time has changed over the last couple of years, and the kids in 17, 18, 19 years old, they are interested. They might not be interested in the same type of cars that we are, but they want to learn how to do that shit the same way we wanted to learn how to do that shit. And they just don't have the same outlets. I don't know what the answer is.
You got a deep rooted. You're going on a fucking rabbit hole there because that. But I mean, you're fundamentally changing education, right? Which is fucked to begin with, right?
Oh, it is.
Does any kid that comes out of like even senior year of high school know what taxes are or how you pay them?
Not now, they don't.
Yeah,
I
wish I knew that when I was coming out
holy
of school.
Fuck, you mean I'm going to have to give like the majority of my money away? Like, if I make any, because you stupid fucks aren't teaching me how to make any?
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest things is hiring ads. You know, when we put out our training program, we put in there, hey, we're going to train you, you know, and so we get young guys and girls coming in and they're scared to apply to places because they don't have any skill.
Yep.
You know, because your job ads are so worded to where you got to be this effing rock star to come in and be able to kill it, you know, when you can actually train them.
That's a very good point.
And that's what I tell a lot of people that I've trained them, you know, we're giving you a Harvard education in what you're doing here and what we do, and we're paying you to do it. But and I tell them when I hire them, you know, a guy that's green that hasn't done anything, you're going to fuck some shit up.
Yep.
You're going to scratch some paint. You're going to cause some damage. You're going to cost us money. But I get it. I'm invested in it. Yeah.
I mean, how many times, like some of the best guys that we've ever had hesitated for a long time before they applied. And
Well,
even when they did, they didn't think they had it.
Yeah, we kicked off an entire like ad campaign for a help wanted ad campaign based on that idea, right? Because we experience that all the time. The guy comes in and he says just that he didn't think that he was prepared for the job, and then he goes to work and you're like, damn, dude, you were badass. You'd have been ready for this job 2-3 years ago. I'd have loved to have had you, but people are intimidated. Mm-hmm. The problem is we went and we were searching for like let the guard down, right? Just if you are interested in the job and if you've got anything like some fundamental skills, some entry level skills, anything, apply. Like I want to talk to you. I want to hear what you've got. But again, you get in that same situation like those interns. It's like the most vague, lazy response of it's a 1-line email. There's no resume. It's like, dude, reach out. Tell me about yourself. Tell me you have no skills. So tell me why you're the right guy for the job. Like, I want to come in there. I'm going to sweep the fucking floors. I'm going to kick ass. Like, dude, I'll stay late. Show me who's the best guy there. Let me work alongside him. I'll just shadow him. Mm-hmm. But there's no effort is the problem. So it's like, how do you pick out of all those? Because we did get a lot of resumes when we did that. A lot of resumes, a lot of emails, but there was nothing that stood out to be like, sure, this guy doesn't have any prior history, prior skills, but he's got the attitude.
He's got some ambition.
Yeah.
And then there's the flip side of it of, we've all seen it. I know we're all going to admit to it. You get the guy that comes in, you've trained him for 2 or 3 months, and then he knows it all. He knows it all. He needs top dollar. I'm worth industry standard right now. And it's like, man, like you've got so much to learn. Like you're just getting by right now. I love the ambition.
Right.
It's great to have that ambition and think that, you got it. But it's like, man, this is a long road. It really is, and it's just
hard road.
Yeah, hard road. You've got so much to learn, so much to experience, so much shit to screw up. I can't even explain how many like garbage paint jobs I did that just to learn.
Interesting.
Just involved like how much crap you've trashed to learn to tell the guy, don't do that.
Yeah.
It's going to go bad.
I'm not telling you not to do it because I read it in a book or I just want to tell you something. I've done it multiple times. It always turns out bad. Don't do it that way.
Yeah,
ask me how I know.
Yeah, you got to do it to learn it, right?
Yeah.
Unless you fuck it up, it's not going to stick as hard as someone telling you.
Yeah, so if they can understand, like, hey, it's a long road. You got to learn. You got to learn the craft. You're learning from good, experienced guys. You got to listen to them. But they are scared to come into places like this and just. I don't know anything, but they got a good head on their shoulders. They go to their hands and like, they don't know what they're capable of.
Yep.
But we're all famous for it. Wording that, you got to have these skills, 3 to 5 years experience, build
Same
hot
thing
rods,
every time.
you got to be able to TIG weld with the best and blah, blah, blah. And, so we're probably need to do some damage control as a community and, make sure that we're just opening up a little bit. And
I wonder what that looks like.
Yeah. I was going to wonder how you guys do that, like trying to run a business and pay people that you're training and then slow down your productive guys in the process. Like you got to factor all that in. That's,
Yeah, it was super difficult. So we ran it at first. We did 2-3 classes and like, holy crap, this takes a lot of effort and a lot of time. Dang, our body shop manager was shut down that entire time. So he's trying to run the shop and, teach at the same time. So we're like, okay, we probably need to do this like once a year, maybe twice a year. But we learned so much on the first class. Okay, we don't have enough of this. We don't have enough body filler. Like we don't have enough stands, Okay, so you learn everything you need. The next class goes better. But, just having those classes is huge. If I don't know if we could come together as a community and have like a job fair or, get together at a Good Guys event in like, hey, in Columbus and like all these shops come together and like, we're all hiring, you know what I mean? And there's so much work to go around that it's not like everybody's going to make it at one shop. You know what I mean? Just, there's so much there that I think the car builder community could do to get that young talent in the door and just want to, teach them and show them the way.
I mean, SEMA could start. I mean, you think they give away all those damn tickets to the damn scooter police and like random, homeless dudes that walk in on Friday or whatever, but they won't allow anybody under 18 in there, like the high school kids that want to come as an entire group to come in and see the shit.
That's a good point because that's a game changer. Like it's a life changer. for some
100%
kids.
a life changer.
Who knows what those kids might see? That could,
That'll spark a fire that they'd want to do it for the rest of their life.
I'm bringing Blaze this year. And
Wyatt asks me every year, but he's like, it's a little young.
He's old enough now to fend for himself. He's gonna get in, and I'm gonna say, go, and he's gonna hit all of his.
Dude, I can't wait to hear the stories of what
The squatted trucks.
he got into. Oh, you're gonna be a grandpa.
No, I won't. Yeah, I've told him a long time ago. It's if my daughter has kids, I'm a grandpa. If he does,
You're not around.
You've got some kids.
But dude, let's back up for a sec. You brought something up. I blew past it because you were talking about some of our best guys that came from nothing, right? Young kids, like two of our top guys in this entire shop. The dude who runs the entire chassis shop, Mike Schmidt, he walked in the door here. He must have been 16 years old, and just wanted to work and just sweep the floors every day after work, after school. He'd pop in here and he swept the shit out of the floors. And then he just slowly graduated to Creighton chassis, right?
Yep.
And he didn't just half-ass it because it sucked to be like, this is like, just bang these fucking boards together. He kicked the shit out of it and did a phenomenal job. And then it was like, you see something in him, you're like, well, let's teach this kid how to weld, right? And then I gave him some 15-inch torque thrusts off my Camaro because he had an El Camino. Motherfucker sold him.
Bringing up some bad
If you care about sweeping the floor, you're going to care about
He just progressed and became like the best frame rail builder, and then moved up to a chassis builder and became the lead chassis builder. And then you could see in him, he gets it. He knows how the shop works, and it was the right fit for him to then slowly step away from a chassis builder position, right? And start managing the shop. And, probably second to him is Jimmy, followed the exact same protocol as he did, basically like sweeping the floors, building the crates, building the best frame rails, boom, #1 chassis builder. And both of them been here. I mean, little Mike, how long's that been? 10 plus years.
Yeah.
Jimmy's probably right there with him. Mm-hmm. But those are dudes that, what would somebody have told them when they were in high school that, like, if you sweep the floors?
Where could you be?
Yeah, where you'll be.
Yeah. Think about that message.
I know personally, I've always, no matter what I've done, my actual first job was Texas Roadhouse. I worked in the kitchen. I was washing dishes.
You're making blooming onions?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Blooming is not Texas. No,
it's sweeping up the peanuts, isn't it?
It's something.
Peanuts on the floor.
That's Outback. That's Outback.
But no, but
They didn't have a
it's
blooming
called
onion there?
It's called tumbleweed something.
I always wonder, is there a fucking tool? Like, they must have a...
I made them. I made those motherfuckers, dude. I worked my way to fry.
Really?
Yeah. So, it's pre-cut. You got the machine that splits the onion open, then they store it in a drawer upside down.
That's a big-ass onion.
Yeah, you pull that dude out, and it's already, like, filleted open, and, you dunk it in buttermilk and your batter, flour, whatever you call it, boom, boom, and you throw it in there, and you got this flat deal that you get in the fryer and you flip it with, so you got to get that bloomin' onion flip art going on.
You're getting this today for free.
Yeah. But yeah,
One motorcycle crash took all that away from
I'm
you.
telling you, food service industry, it changed.
I learned a
different
shitload.
person.
I learned how to hustle.
But what that shows, the fact that you remember that,
Fuck yeah.
that's why you're where you're at right now. Because I'll bet you there's a shit ton of people that worked at TGI Fridays and fucking Texas Roadhouse that did the exact same thing as you did, that aren't doing shit today, and they can't remember how they made that bloomin' onion because they didn't give a fuck when they were making the bloomin' onion.
I did Chick-fil-A and Fuddruckers, and I still remember right now to this day on Chick-fil-A exactly how to make that Chick-fil-A and how the chicken comes in, right, and then the buttermilk wash, and then you got the special flour seasoning, but then you got to go back to the buttermilk wash. Then you got to go back to the thing.
Double
very specific. And you talking about like what you think is like to your point, fast food, like no big deal, whatever. We're gonna fucking do it. Chick-fil-A as a whole, they do not fucking play. You're going to half-ass on a fucking one single piece of chicken? No, you won't. You will do it exactly the way you're told to do it. Very specific on the ice cream, very specific on so many things.
But you can tell by the way the associates act. It's like, this isn't McDonald's.
No, fuck no.
This ain't no McDonald's.
Very. I worked in Atlanta. I was at the very first standalone Chick-fil-A that wasn't the main thing. Because at first it was just the one little small Chick-fil-A, and then they started going into malls, right? So this was the very first standalone Chick-fil-A in Atlanta. This was like 95 or 90, yeah.
Yeah, I learned a shitload in the restaurant industry. Like, you got to learn how to work fast. You got to learn how to work efficient. You got to learn how to communicate.
There's some dirty fucks that worked at in
there is.
If you work the like late shift and you close up and it's like 11:30, like that's, yeah.
Dude, I'll say I never worked in the restaurant industry.
STDs going around.
But my wife did.
Zero.
My wife did at the same time. I was just working around the fucking clock building hot rods, you know. And you're right, dude. It is a slimy fraternity. Like these fucking dudes. I remember like going to pick her up and like smacking some dude because she ended up somewhere in the middle of the night, and I'm leaving. I had to leave work. I'm building fucking frame rails at like 11 o'clock at night.
Dude, the work after parties were the shit.
That's
what it sounds like.
I'm jumping in my truck, driving into Chicago to pick her ass up, and this dude, he's fucking looking me up and down. I'm like, the fuck?
Right.
Dude, you work at a motherfucking, like, basically a glamorized TGI Fridays, and you're looking at me like there's something wrong with me because I'm wearing work boots and I'm fucking dirty.
You're fixing to get a better look at
Dude,
these
and
work.
then the guy was talking shit because at the time, remember we gave her that LeBaron? That fucking LeBaron, a Chrysler LeBaron, right? Yeah. And he's
The
busted.
LeBaron?
Not the LeBaron. LeBaron. All right. So my dad hooked it up.
There's
Right? It was
multiple
another.
LeBarons?
Yeah, there's a lot of LeBarons in this family. My dad hooked it up. It was it was a stolen recovery.
Okay.
Right. So he got it for free. We tuned it up, put a little fucking paint work on it, gave her a LeBaron, the mint ass LeBaron. And this dude's gonna stand there, and he starts busting my balls. He's like, real classy, dude. You got her a LeBaron. Dude, it's a fucking LeBaron. That's a sports car. Yeah, of course it is.
More of a car than she had before.
She had no car.
Now she has.
Now she has a LeBaron.
Lee Iacocca made the Mustang. Now she's in the LeBaron.
Right. But that restaurant, there's some. I don't know.
It's
Dude,
I wouldn't want to be a part of the after.
Dude, the after parties were the shit. You went and got shit-faced drunk every night after work. Yeah, total.
Chick-fil-A was a little cleaner environment for the most part. At nighttime, Fuddruckers is like the fucking movie.
Waiting.
Yeah,
The Batwing.
it was full blown. Yeah,
You ever get access to the recipe for the jalapeno cheese there?
it came in a bag.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Fucking pre-made bullshit. Roadhouse didn't do that shit.
You want to talk about two complete. So Chick-fil-A was like working at. In comparison, Chick-fil-A was like working at fine dining, right? The Roadster shop level of like everything's going to be high quality. You know, Fuddruckers was like, fuck, I don't care. Like, throw it in the fucking pot out there in the thing.
What shop is that?
Whatever they did, it worked.
That's the first fucking time. I almost answered.
You're on the spot now. You put everybody else.
Oh, it's the first time it's been turned around.
So?
He almost got me too.
So?
Yeah. So Fuddruckers would be like fucking TCI level. Like,
choose your words, dude. Choose your words wisely.
Schwartz level.
I actually really liked Fudd. We went to Fuddruckers a lot as kids.
Really?
Yeah. Loved the little burger bar.
Did you go overboard on loading that burger up?
No, I kept it
too
simple.
much
Dude,
toppings?
that was my first experience. I was never a vegetable guy, or like, I'm kind of just like meat and potatoes,
guy.
right?
Yeah.
But I would take what do they call that? Like the little diced up fucking tomatoes with onions.
Pico de gallo.
Pico de gallo.
Yeah.
A little scoop of that, jalapeno cheese, and that fat burger. Give it a little
Smash burger. Fuck yeah.
unbelievable.
I'm telling you what, you're right though. You're talking about you learn so much. You also learn so much about human beings.
Oh, fuck
Because watching Chick-fil-A too, but watching people come through that line because you've given them the opportunity for free toppings. The amount that they put
Pants
for what I'm
pockets
like,
and
why
everything.
would you fucking? How are you going to eat that? But it's like it's mindless. They're not thinking about like what they're
it's
adding
free.
for flavor. It's just the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, the next thing until they've got just basically upside down chili like on top of their thing. But you work in the drive-through at Chick-fil-A, like human beings. Like we always talk about today, like what's wrong with like the world. Like we're
going deep.
It was bad back then. I think the world's always been stupid. I don't think it's been like getting stupid. The fucking request that you have from somebody that spends
So you're saying,
$7.
so as the drive-through attendant, you're
Yes.
saying that the patrons are stupid.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I was 16. It wasn't like I just made bad life choices. This is the job that I could get. But the requests that they would make, like I remember vividly to this day, there was a lady that would come through at the same time every Saturday, right? Older lady, and she had very specific tastes. And they even warned me the first time that she came through, they like pulled the headphones or whatever, and she's like, just take the order, right? So she orders a Chick-fil-A sandwich, and she requests it to be cut in half, and a half put in one bag and a half put in the other bag. No pickles, but the pickles in a cup on the side.
Jesus Christ.
And it was the same thing.
She knows what she wants. What's the matter with that?
Next week she pulls up and you're just like 787.
I've always had a production mentality. From a production mentality, you realize how that slows down a fucking line? Because you can't just grab the sandwich.
You need to have more of a custom mentality. This goes back to, there was a podcast we just did where Bo talked about being like a servant.
Yes.
If you were a good person.
Oh, we took care of her.
Okay.
She got everything she wanted all the time.
A lot of kitchen seasoning on that.
When she left, I'm thinking like, what? Who the fuck? Can you not go home and cut it? Like, what is the pickles being on it? I wanted to know what your life was that you had to have them separated and you had to have the pickles on the side. Like, what
the
kept
pickles,
you?
different
the pickles
people.
fuck up a bun because you can't. You leave a pick. You order like a burger, like a McDonald's burger comes with a pickle, right? You can't take the pickle off. It doesn't matter.
Eat the pickle.
It is
now you
imprinted
throw it at the window.
Well, it is imprinted itself
absorbed in
into
that
the bun,
chemical
and it
bread.
is forever
You
impregnated
could
in the
just
bun.
eat the pickle.
You could, but it's not good. A pickle on it by itself is good. A pickle on a burger,
What?
Not
this
so
is
good.
the first thing I've ever heard. This is the first time I've heard this from
oh
you.
fuck a pickle on anything. I love pickles, other than a Chicago style hot dog. But am I
Yeah,
right?
It ruins it. Yeah.
That's how I am with olives and mushrooms. If it touches it, it's there.
Yeah, forever.
Yeah.
So this is leading up to what I wanted to say.
I'm glad we got here.
We're getting here.
So the first time I learned I was an asshole in life was at a restaurant.
Okay.
And it's for these same things we're talking
I was
about.
told that at like 4.
Yeah.
Dad.
Like these fucking orders are coming in, you're hanging all these fucking tickets, you're like, what the fuck is this shit? Like why are people requesting this crap? And you're doing it, and then, it just absorbs into your body from the orders, and like, why the crap do people want this? Why do they want 4 sides of chili with their steak?
Yeah.
All these things. So you're
Let me
just
get a
like,
New York strip, half of it medium rare, half of it well done.
yeah. So you're just like pumped up at that point, and so you're just like, fuck everybody at that point. So I eventually worked my way up to point, which is where you push it to the expo side, and then it's like, expo's pissing you off. You can really fuck some shit up. You can hold like 8 orders and just be like, fuck you, bitch. And then push it all over there. But yeah, and it's just like, God, people in the restaurant industry, you will fucking piss each other off something serious. But that's where I learned I was an asshole. Like, yeah.
God, that's gotta, dude, that has to be.
I knew that like within minutes of meeting you.
That's
It's
gotta,
a particular vibe.
that's gotta be a brutal fucking industry, man. We there's some guidelines in my household for like a Starbucks drive-through or just dinner. I allow 1, maybe 2
Change orders.
reductions or additions. So you can
change
you can be like, I'll take a burger, no pickle. But if you want, I'll take a burger cut in half, medium rare,
What?
no pickle.
You're done. You're out of change orders.
The same thing with the drink too. It's like just if you have to inconvenience it beyond the one thing, just deal with it yourself. Then like scoop it out. But
Yeah, I've had that argument with my daughter. She's 12 years old. I'm like, you order, it is on the menu. You get what's there. There's no additions.
you don't allow her
It must
one.
be good. That's why they put it on there.
I won't order it.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, the restaurant industry. There's people out there now dying laughing because they know exactly what we're
We
talking
never touched
about.
on that with Delancey. We should have dove into that.
Yeah, we should have. He's probably a nicer guy though.
And hey, and that's another thing that I think kids need to learn in young industry coming up. Like, don't be scared of work. You know, I was working washing cars 8 to 5, 40 hours a week, and then then I was working at Roadhouse at the same time. So I was working 80 hours a week at
That was
19,
for the
20 years
ass
old.
though. The Roadhouse was for the ass.
I couldn't.
It was for the free peanuts.
Yeah. It's probably a 50-50
Still
thing.
worked.
Yeah. And then just like, I was just dedicated that I wasn't going to fail.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going back to mom and dad's. I'm not going back to live with them. I don't care if I got to eat the boxes my food come in.
Yep.
I'm not going home. And that just mentality isn't there anymore. So if the new up and comers can just be hungry, like just own it. Like if you can just own it, you'll get there. But just like I can work, I see guys at the shop, they could work 30 hours a week. They're like, cool, I'm good. I'll call in 3 days a week. Like I ain't got bills to pay. I don't know what that was like.
Yeah.
If I missed an hour of work, I couldn't eat that week.
You hear this all the time. I know we're staying on the food shit, but you do hear it in like podcasts and stories. You hear all these great successful people, whatever, that have backgrounds in the food industry, right? You learn so much about people. You learn so much about customer service. One thing you don't learn about really is the sales side of things. Imagine if they did like the fast food or like a Lone Star, Logan's, a Chili's type of environment where you had to implement the sales side of things. So there was no real like prices. So whatever your waiter got when you ordered something, you're kind of the haggling. Right? So you want the awesome nachos, huh? What do you think an awesome nachos is worth to you tonight? And you had to sell them on the awesome nachos and the price. Imagine how much you would learn on the. You walked into a Chipotle right now and be like, "I'll have the steak burrito." Obviously, the guy's gonna put fucking chicken in it.
I was just gonna say, you're lucky to even just get the fucking steak burrito at that point.
Yeah, so he's gonna fuck that up. But when he gets to the end, there's no prices on it. It's like that'll be $25.96. How about $20? All right, I think we can do 20 for the burrito today.
You know that doesn't work. So I had a buddy. Remember Boris? I had a fucking buddy, Boris, Russian dude.
I know.
Right? Fucking Boris.
I don't know Boris. I know
we're kids,
Boris.
and dude, we're going to Walgreens, and it's like you ring up your you get a pack of gum, maybe a Cadbury egg. And like a
You're pulling a Cadbury?
Fucking Cadbury.
That's a deep pull.
Yeah.
right, but they
He's
tell
coming
you.
up on the season.
Hitting the temple with a fucking Cadbury.
I've seen what a Cadbury egg does exiting the vehicle at like 70 miles an hour.
That'll fuck up a sign.
Yeah. But dude, you pay. They tell you how much it is, and then you pay that dollar.
He tried to haggle?
He would haggle like it's the fucking streets of Calcutta. We'd be up there, and they'd be like, "Okay, that's $15." Oh, come on! And you're like, "Come on!" What do you mean? He's like, "Hey, what do you think about like 15?" And they're like, "That's $20." He's like, "I'll give you 12." Yeah, it's just $20 fucking dude. Like they'll lose their job. 18?
He was taking it serious,
Yeah.
and he said, if it doesn't scan, it must be free.
I think a haggling mentality across
Haggling
the
and
board in the
negotiation.
marketplace would teach people on both sides a lot of things. You'd learn so much.
I mean, it's negotiations, but I think there's a time and a place. I just wanted to get the fucking Cadbury and get the hell out of there. I was like, Boris, just pay.
What were you planning on doing with this Cadbury?
I was
Eating
going to
it?
throw it at something.
Oh.
High speed out the window.
When's the last time you've eaten a Cadbury?
They're
egg?
disgusting.
They're so sweet.
Yeah.
Pure sugar.
Oh, gosh.
Easter is coming around. You're a fucking Peeps guy, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. My dad was a
Yeah.
Peeps guy. Yeah, Peeps guy. He was
That's
like
the
he had
most disgusting.
he had a method for eating them too. You open them up first, and then you leave them. It's like he likes them well done, like a well done peep.
That is crust up or something.
Yeah, it would get hard on the
What's that,
exterior.
like a day or two?
No, it's like 3-4 days. Yeah.
Don't touch my fucking peep.
Those are still aging.
right now.
It was only the yellow ones and only the birds.
They were
It wouldn't fuck
always
with the rabbits or
Really?
the
Jeez.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, no way was you fucking with a rabbit. That was,
Specific on the
Yeah.
peeps.
yeah.
Fuck it. The peeps suck. I don't
Try
like
it,
a
dude.
peep.
Give it a shot.
Get it a little aged.
Yeah.
Do they give some crunch on the outside or
Yep.
what?
It does crunch.
Do anything for the taste though.
No, it's still pure sugar.
Yeah.
No, now we're on
one of those
fucking peeps.
crunchy.
Dude, we
crunchy
are,
peeps.
tonight we are solving the world's problems.
We are.
You think so?
We've touched on a lot of
talked
great
about the
stuff.
problems that need to be solved.
All right.
That's the first step.
Gotta identify the problem.
So
I want to see how you segue
Yeah, let's
this.
see how do you tie this into like something productive?
speaking of problems in the world, what is the next? Where came the next iteration of Velocity Modern Classic? So the first non-Bronco thing that we were like, you know what, we should build fucking these. They're cool. Obviously not scooters. We've talked about that because that went south for everybody.
Yeah.
Was it the F-250s?
I mean, I think it goes back to production. We weren't always production. You know, we wanted to figure out how to take what everybody wants and bundle it into a package. You know, and the customer still feels like they get something custom at the end of the day. It's kind of like going to GM or Ford. I want to buy an LT or an LTZ. You know, I get these options or I get these options. You know, so how do we make this reproducible? You know, we're just getting tons of custom stuff, and you know, y'all are well known for custom, and you know all the trials and tribulations, and
It's easy. You just draw it up and hit print.
Yeah,
It's like
I want to
fucking
pick
super
every
simple.
little thing. So we're like, hey, let's get this into a producible fashion to where we can know we can build X amount a year. We can give a guaranteed start date, a guaranteed completion date, and we take all the hard decisions out of it and just get it down to this. So did our first truck, and you know, I started at so many hours, and like, hey, we perfected it down into that model. And like, okay, all right, this is it. So first we were limited by space.
Yep.
So that was our first challenge of, hey, we need to get
some
into a
better
new
beers?
building.
Coors Light's a great beer,
Well, we can get them other ones. I got
do
some
like
more of those.
those.
I can get some more of those.
if you don't mind.
Yeah, no problem. Cody can keep talking and tell the story.
We're
I'll listen.
listening.
I'll listen. This is recorded.
just
That's
So
interrupt.
when are you moving into that? So space, you guys were coming out of what and moved into what?
Yeah, we moved out of 20,000 square feet into 130. You know,
little
so,
jump.
So that's roughly 110,000 more.
Yeah,
Basic,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
rough math.
And I remember going to look at this place and just like, what the fuck are we going to do with all this space? There's no way we can fill this.
Yeah.
No way. We even talked about renting half of the building out. You know, it was like, we're not going to use this. We'll just rent this part out. So, you know, we drew it all up on napkins and papers and like figured it all out and like, okay, we're going to do this.
Thank you.
You know, we kind of pre-perfected the process in our 20,000 square foot facility, and just kind of acted like we were going down the production line. And, you know, so we got everything moved. It was, God, it was the hardest week I can ever remember at Velocity. I think in 5 days we moved from shop to shop, and we were up and running the following Monday.
How far apart were the shops that time?
Maybe 30 minutes, but everybody that had a truck and a trailer and a
loaded
hitch
up.
and just had shit on every truck, had 3 or 4 U-Hauls, and it was raining. It was in the middle of like July, just 120 bullshit degrees, 100% humidity, just sucked ass. But yeah, I got the whole place moved and up and running. Started with, you know, 1 assembly line, and then it's 2 assembly lines. Then we brought in the third, then, you know, hey, what's the next thing? Nobody wants to build the same thing forever. You know, there's always that pivotal change in the market. There's always that new demand. And, you know, the Highboy F-250s, you know, that 67 to 72 model, it's just bump sides. Everybody loves them. So, hey, let's build one. See what this takes. And
that first one turned out fucking killer, by the way.
Yeah, and
yeah, beautiful truck. Dude.
Thank you. And RS4 chassis reached out to you guys. Hey, this is what we need. So that was the building blocks for that truck, of course. And then you guys hooked us up with a space at SEMA. It just fell in our lap. We didn't build that truck to go to SEMA. We're just trucking along, building it for the customer, and
Trucking along.
It's just we were trucking along, and it's like, oh shit, we got to be at SEMA. I think we actually launched it in Texas or whatever, but that truck turned out badass. A lot of billet work, just a lot of things to capture that vintage look, but just not go overboard, and keep that classic appeal to it, and truck just did really well on social media, Fox News, the whole Jay Leno thing, it did really well, so we've had that truck out for 2.5 years now, so it's gained a lot of steam. And then it's okay, now we need to do 2-wheel drive. All right. Okay. Reach out to Roadster Shop. I know we got a badass chassis. We'd never really dabbled in the spec chassis stuff at that point. We've just been RS4 at that point. Fuck. Once we drove that truck, and it's like, holy shit, this thing is badass. Nice. Yeah, that F100, Gen 3 Coyote 10-speed. I've never driven even a modern day truck that handles like that thing. You think you're in a sports car. I've never put somebody in that truck in any of those F100s, and they've gotten out of it and didn't have a fucking smile on their face ear to ear.
That's awesome.
Just whipping Brody's in it in that infield.
They're just fucking
best
badass.
sales tool ever.
Yeah, and
you too can do this.
God, it's just like it drives so fucking good. I was just like, Jesus Christ, and it's a simple chassis. There's not a lot going on there. Then of course we wanted K5. I think we all wanted K5. I think the market needed K5. It's bigger. It's got more space. It's more of the family vehicle. It just does more. The hard top's bigger. It's like everything about it. GM platform. It's like, hey, let's do a 6.2. Let's do an LT1. Keep it simple. You guys designed us a chassis for it. Really helps us out with that. And it's the K5 market. We've seen that at Barrett Jackson this year. It's just getting bigger and bigger. Yep. And then, hey, let's do cars. Let's do Mustangs.
Why not? We're so bored. This is all so easy. Let's just throw another one in the mix.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's do Mustangs. Not a whole lot of builders out there doing Mustangs. It is a niche market. I will say that. And again, driving the Mustang on the spec chassis, fucker handles like it's on rails. That's
awesome, dude.
Yeah, and we even had a car at the shop. Just an original car that we were playing with, just had bolt-in suspension, and we're like, it's not that good. When we drove that car, we're like, fuck. Nice. Yeah. It's fucking badass. So, all right, we're 5 models deep going into last year, and it was rough. Whole lot of development, a lot of add-on, a lot of, billet parts. Just, this is what we got to do. This is where the market needs to go. We know these models are going to be hot. It's all about getting there first. If you're not there first, you ain't gonna get there.
Yeah,
you're always gonna be
Ricky
second.
Bobby said,
Yeah,
first or last, baby.
Yeah, you're always gonna be second. So why not set the pace, get ahead of everybody else? Set the pace for what it should be.
How'd you guys feel going into that when you're doing the dent side? Right, there's probably never been one of those that has sold for even 6 figures prior to you guys diving in. And you come to market with a kick-ass truck, and it's a pretty penny. It's not for everyone, but was there any thought of like, dude, nobody's gonna want these things? Like, this is
of course, bump side. We're just of course, scary.
Sense, right?
Hey, let's see what it costs. You've got all that development cost and the new parts, the new billet. You're putting a chassis under it. Like, nothing's really dialed in. There is no process.
Interior.
Yeah, interior.
You have designed billet parts for it.
Yeah, and just everything. There's no parts available for those trucks. There's not a whole lot of sheet metal. That's one of probably the biggest challenges of building those things. It was a total gamble, and
How many of those trucks you guys done now?
We're probably 15 deep in the F series.
That's the second time. First you said 5 models deep, and all I could think of was that should have been a Poison song. 5 models deep. Tell me that would have been a fucking Poison.
That would be.
Now we're 15 deep.
Dude, what kind of guy? So if there's 15 of them out there. What kind of guys, girls? Who's buying those things?
The bump sides.
Yeah,
blue collar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the guys that it's not the ultra rich. It's not we're not trying to target that or anything. It's the guys that have worked hard. You know, they've been successful. They've busted their tail through life, and they made good decisions. They're business guys, and they want that vehicle that relates back to what they thought was cool in high school.
Yeah,
Maybe owns 10 or 12 Longhorns or Lone Stars.
Yeah.
They have
Probably started
yeah.
off fucking making blooming onions.
now they got a whole fucking chain across the Southeast.
I think they've all, you know, told their story at some point to, you know, Stewart, our sales guys, of how they just started from nothing and busted ass and, you know, made their money, and now it's time to, you know, get what they want. And they
Is that a
enjoy
different customer than the Bronco?
I think our customer in general is blue collar, but I think the Bronco in itself is, you know, I wouldn't call it a fad, but it's just a
wider audience.
Yeah, it's a wide audience. It appeals to everybody. You know, it's anything from the husband to the wife, so you can put your kids in it. You know, it's a vacation vehicle. It's a daily driver. It does everything that you want it to. It's cute. It's fun. It's sexy. It's clean. It's all those things. It checks all the boxes, and I think that's why people like it. I don't think it's a fad by any means. I just think it is just that all-around vehicle that people like.
You did the pink one, and my daughter came home, and one of her friends saw it, showed it to her. She's like, "Dad, we've got to build one of these." Like, I kind of know the guy. That's our chassis underneath.
It leads me to my next question. So you've driven a shit ton of vehicles, and y'all build a lot of different models, right? Out of all the models, the Broncos, the Mustangs, the K5s, the F100s, F250s, all that, what do you get the most dudes saying, "Fuck yeah, that's awesome," and what do you get the most chicks?
Chicks, definitely Broncos.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, all day long, probably the most.
Beach truck.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say the other word, but it's a open top SUV.
Yeah. Probably the most dudes, probably F250s, F100s. Yeah. They just relate back to that, you know.
Yeah, that one's just like, it's a toxic masculinity truck, right? Like
F250?
Oh yeah, you get that thing and it's like
They judge a book by the cover in that thing.
You know?
Yeah.
8-foot bed that never has to be made.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and you just feel like
Joe Diffie.
Oh, yeah. Famous Joe Diffie.
I don't hear a lot of people dropping Joe Diffie.
Fuck Joe Diffie.
You talk shit
Rest
about
in
Joe
peace.
Diffie? What the fuck's wrong with John Deere Green?
He was awesome up until he started dating the widow of Davey Allison.
And what happened there?
I'll never forgive him.
It broke up the Allisons or what?
No, right after
dead.
Davey died,
How soon?
it was like
okay. So I don't know
3
the
months.
history.
Oh, that's
3
pretty
months.
rough.
Too
3
soon.
months
On
after.
her end,
Too
too.
soon?
Yeah, way too soon. Fuck him.
wasn't
I
for
used to
him.
love listening to that stuff too. That was my first boycott at like 13.
Snap the CD in half.
Never again.
Did you pull it right out? You pulled it right out of the case login.
He's got his poster in his room with a big X going through it.
We found the
In
box.
John Deere Green. You're like, shit, it was John Deere Green.
Me and my wife found the box of all the old case logics, like from like 4 cars worth.
Yeah.
Of stuff just probably a month ago. There's a lot of good shit in those.
Yeah. Dude, I found one recently too. My wife, she just
Binder?
had the single one. Phil had a rip. You had a fucking.
You had the binder.
Yeah.
We always knew the guy that had the binder. I knew you was going to be the binder guy.
When's it going to go from records are in right now? When are we going to get nostalgic about cassettes or CDs?
I don't
it
think
just sounds so much better on a CD, you know? Just that
Cassettes, I don't think.
crackle.
Dude, CDs are actually getting popular. Like, you go to, like, some of these record stores and stuff, because I'm kind of got big into vinyl stuff.
Yeah.
And CDs are, like, not that far behind it.
Really?
I hope mom didn't throw them all out.
I've kept all mine. I've got, like, everything I've ever bought, the cases and everything.
I think I've probably got most of mine. There was a few given away, but with the case logic thing we found or whatever, there was. It's interesting the genres like that it crosses.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of everything.
Well, for the longest time,
You could tell the CD as soon as you saw it too. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Without even reading.
Yeah.
You get like the logos that were on. You're like,
That's
oh,
because
fuck
you're
that.
driving along,
That's
flipping
sublime.
through.
dude, for the longest time, I shared my truck with my wife, so she would leave that in the truck. And I think probably, I'd say for the first like 5 years we were in business, every car that we tuned the stereo on was, I just run out to the truck and grab, it was always Hootie and the Blowfish because it was on the first page. You're like, oh, sure, yeah, throw that in there. So like every Roadster, every
CD.
32 Roadster we ever did with a disc changer in the back.
Was there a lot of tuning to those systems?
Yeah,
With the
bass, treble.
a little bit more highs, a little bit more lows.
It was more like making sure you hooked the crossover right.
Mega bass.
That you didn't
Notch 2.
You didn't zip tie the RCAs to the battery cable.
Okay, I got you. Yeah.
That kind of stuff. Not like today's tuning.
Right.
I just wasn't that guy that saved everything. I remember like carrying a trash bag full of DVDs to a guy at work, being like, "Dude, you can have this shit. There's Netflix now, and all this stuff." I just like,
I didn't actively like try to save it. It just
happened.
either
It's in the
I
back of the
left
closet.
I left most of my belongings at my parents' house when I moved out. Like most of the shit there, I was like, I'm starting, and then like through them moving, and they just kept boxing. They're like, finally, this is all your things. These are all now yours. And then at that point, I tested it with my wife. I was like, I don't want that shit. If I figure out a place to put it.
We're dealing with that right now. My mom's moving, so just the other night we were there, and she's just trying to pawn off all this old shit. It's like, your kids are gonna love this. It's like my baby blanket. Like my kids are not gonna want that. It's like, your daughter would like. It's gonna be so sentimental. My daughter doesn't want that. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Your
These were,
grandkids will.
I found these socks under your bed, Phil, when you were like in high school. That give me
might
your son
wanna
like
watch
them.
Just need a wash.
Hockey socks. Hockey socks.
You're stand up by themselves.
Ninja stars.
Ninja stars.
Oh my god!
We all had this very similar childhood.
Dude, the funniest thing was we're digging through stuff, and some little camcorder tapes come up, right? That were in some random ass bag.
Don't play that.
No.
Well, so one, it said something about like Phil's.
Mini ones or full size?
No, the mini ones. Mini ones, right?
You
So
got
I've
the
been
adapter?
looking. No, I'm gonna get one. I looked on Amazon's got them, but I don't even have a fucking VHS player. And I've been looking for this elusive tape for years that me and Fenn had this senior project thing that was it was
okay.
pretty epic, right? But I
Heard
see
about
this
that. You're
thing.
looking for that?
Yeah, well, this tape surfaces,
Not a good
and I'm
idea.
like, oh shit! But I see the fear in Phil's eyes when he sees it, because nobody knows what's on it. You're like, you know that the other tape had his name on it, so everybody's thinking like, oh shit, this came out of a camcorder from like the late '90s. What the fuck?
We'll talk about this later.
It was on a tripod.
What's it going there?
Kids don't know how
Is
lucky.
it on? Yeah, it's on.
Hey,
man.
kids,
So red light on.
a little piece of electrical tape. Kids do not know how lucky they have it today.
Turn it to night vision. Turn it to night vision.
iPhone at your fingertips, man.
Is that good or bad?
I think
though?
it kept us out of jail a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The amount of shit we would have filmed had we had an iPhone.
The amount of times my son has been in trouble strictly because of the iPhone.
Yeah, he doesn't
and
make
the
the
records
best
and
decisions.
shit. Fucking A. Oh, I did all those same dumb decisions.
just
There was
didn't
just
have
no
an iPhone.
record of it. Yeah. Like,
Yeah, you
prove
weren't
it.
gonna like pull out a camcorder.
Just
What's this?
dragging a trash can by a car into a mailbox.
Yeah. That's,
It's probably the next thing that ruined the next generation. Just everything at their fingertips.
I know, because they didn't have any creativity going out and doing dumb shit.
Yeah.
The what you could do with it, there's at least 20 things I could name right now of what to do with a trash can.
Yeah.
Without even thinking about it.
Just having to go out back in the day and ask a girl for her number.
Oh yeah.
And then having to talk to her mom and
Now it's
dad
just-
first when you
Yeah.
called.
And now it's just, hey,
frightening.
Is
you
Anna
know what's
there?
up? So it's just a whole different world for
See,
the
y'all,
new generation.
I'm probably older though.
Well, you're fucking single, dude. So you experienced this like out in the world. We've been married forever. Like,
Yeah,
what's
like
the
an
I
online
want to
dating?
get into the dating world
Can you
now.
read
Yeah.
Pager? Can you read Pager?
The fuck is pager?
You don't remember
911.
911.
Oh, pager, yeah.
you
I
could
never had a
full-blown-
pager. I
Oh.
kind of skipped
Okay.
pager. I had a
My
cell
mom
phone.
wouldn't let me get one because it was for drug dealers.
That
she
was-
said.
Yeah.
Well, my
never
buddy
had
had
a
one.
pager.
I had a lot
Who was a
The
drug dealer?
whole $8 a month was
I had
just
a- I
too
had-
much money for my
I had a
parents.
lot of pagers, and you would have full blown conversations on
Oh,
the pager
yeah,
because
yeah.
you could read. Because basically, what you just did was do all your words from the numbers.
Yeah, sure.
So you'd have a phone sitting out in front of you,
Text message.
and yeah, it's basically a full blown text message, and like
Hang on, baby. Let me find a
nobody,
payphone.
nobody remembers any of that shit.
What was
That
the
was the way-
lifespan of like the pager genre?
So I got the first pager, which was just the old school Motorola like clip, just the top read.
And you wore that shit outside the waistband.
It's
fucking
fucking gotta-
flaunting
in your
that
jeans.
shit.
You gotta let everybody fucking know.
Yeah.
I think it was Guess overalls at that point. It was in Atlanta in the late '90s. It was a big hot hip hop scene. All right, so this was 90. I think 94 or 95 was my first pager, and then I didn't get a cell phone. I don't think until 97. But I remember, I think 95 and 96, I had the big, like, doctor's Motorola where you could full-blown, like, text to page.
Remember the Nokias where you could pull the faceplates off and shit? And
Yeah,
change
I
all of
had a
them?
Confederate flag on mine.
Dude, I painted so many back in the day when I was learning to paint. Motherfuckers would drop off 10 cell phone covers.
Really?
Oh, fuck.
What do you
yeah.
charge per?
That was an
Oh, it was,
indestructible cell
like,
phone.
fuck
Yeah.
yeah, I'll paint that
Yeah.
shit. It was just free.
Then I got a BlackBerry in 99 or 2000.
You've always been weird with your devices.
The BlackBerry was the greatest device ever made.
Oh, it was the shit
Says
when it come out.
Everybody who's owned a BlackBerry.
Dude, it was basically a
never had one.
supercomputer.
It was
in
pre
your hand.
iPhone, yeah.
It was-
Yeah, for sure.
Did you have
Everything.
a stylus on it?
Yeah,
It
but
had a
it had a
stylus.
full blown keypad, so you could do everything you wanted to do. But you even had its own like internet before there was the internet. Like you could go to sites and shit like that. Not graphical, but you could go. It was there was like chat rooms. I'm telling you what, BlackBerry was
ASL.
BlackBerry was the shit. Yeah, there's people out there listening.
Yeah.
You'd go in to play games, and there was chat rooms in the games. No, it was the same
wasn't
type
there.
of people that worked at the restaurants. They were all in the same chat rooms.
It was Nextel was huge when I was young.
Yeah, once Nextel came out,
that,
that was-
whole bleep bleep thing, like
Oh,
God.
when your buddy didn't put it on mute and he went into the
Yep.
bank or went into something like that.
Oh, it's so easy to fuck with people, man.
Yeah.
Nextel, like
You could just scream
pour a
out
little bit
anything.
out, pour a little bit out for Nextel. Like,
Yeah.
that was the shit.
They got
that is-
destroyed, didn't they?
My
You
brother-
imagine
What was
working for
the
Nextel.
What was the downfall of that?
The
Because that,
iPhone.
Yeah, iPhone fucked
is that what
everybody
killed it?
up.
It
Yeah.
lasted that long.
Yeah,
That's like right there, 2007. I
Nextel
think.
lasted probably another 3 years after the iPhone 1 came out in just the construction industry, just because it was the push
Oh,
to
yeah.
talk.
If
But-
I'll bet you there's still a lot of fucking contractors that still have them hanging on their
At
head.
least in the south side of
Oh
Chicago.
yeah, dude.
Well, I mean, it's
in
still
in the
I'm
Chicago
sure it probably
area.
still has a niche, but it was in my world in the South like that. If you didn't have a Nextel, you weren't nothing. Like, there was no way to communicate because we only communicate with Nextel. All of the group of friends, you never called anybody, you never did anything. It was just a push to talk. Everything. Driving down the road, and it was just the only way we communicate.
walkie-talkie.
Yes, it's full blown
That's
walkie-talkie,
exactly.
but it was just the fucking way to do it. And then iPhone 1 came out and done.
My brother had the yellow construction
That's
grade
one I
one.
had.
And he's like, look at it.
You can hammer a nail with it.
We're at a car meet, street racing, and he's like, look, this thing's indestructible, and he throws it, and the fucking thing just blows apart.
It was.
But it did still work. It was hanging on
Check
by a
this out,
wire.
motherfuckers.
I remember.
Oh, man.
I had one even before I moved to Alabama or whatever, and we'd always get paid by check, and then we'd go at Friday to cash our checks, right? And we'd ride together, and whoever would go in to cash their, we'd always be different banks. As soon as they go in the bank to cash their check, they always have their Nextel hanging on their hip, and it's always loud as can be, you know? And you just, whatever words you could possibly think of. You want to talk about watching somebody through the window, try to get their Nextel. Yeah, those fun times. Simple, but fun times.
I'd have rather seen the Nextel continue its existence than earbuds and people talking into it. Dude, this morning I'm at the gym and this chick walks up behind me. I'm in the middle of just shredding shoulders, right? As you guys can tell, right? I saw Cody's been looking at him all night.
Fucking pussy shoulders.
This chick walks up behind me. And I'm looking in the mirror.
He's doing Pilates, all right?
Yeah. And she's like talking, and I'm looking at him now. I'm looking at the person next to me. I'm like, is she talking? She's just talking to somebody on the fucking. You're like fucking everybody's workout up because she's looking at this person, looking at me, and then she just casually walks forward to the dumbbell rack, and you're like, what the fuck?
Ear pods. I'm going to make this as clear as possible. Ear pods are for 1, obviously listening to music. Number 2, having a conversation hands-free when you're by yourself.
Yep.
Okay? If you have to have a conversation whilst you're doing something, you're probably doing something in public, and you should stop doing that thing to have the conversation or not have the conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if you're going to stop to have the conversation to walk out, the AirPods are now no longer needed, and you can just use the built-in speaker on the cellular device.
No, you put that on speakerphone and hold it right here.
Right at the cash register.
Through the airport.
That one gets me more than the AirPods do.
I agree.
Yeah.
By far.
Because that one's a problem.
Yeah.
Not as big of a problem as watching a television show on your iPad with no headphones.
Yeah.
That one turned out to be a
People
real
think
problem.
they're a badass talking on their fucking
earbuds?
earbuds
It's so-
in public. Like, you're gonna know I'm talking on the fucking phone right now.
And
You could ride a miniature giraffe gilded in gold down the airport and be less douchey than talking.
I hate it. I hate
Don't
it.
like a conversation
So
on
much.
AirPods.
And like if Jeremy turned around and looked at her, she'd be like, "What the fuck?
Yeah,
creep?
what are you looking at me? What are you looking at me for? I'm not talking to you.
Dude's stalking me."
Yeah.
What the fuck? Well,
Take a picture.
yeah. If it happens to me, like I'll be there, and because I'm not, as you know, I'm not. I can't handle any technology. So the fucking shit starts ringing, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" So you take them out, and then you pick up your phone, and then you're like, "I'm working out. I'll call you back." And then put your headphones on.
That's the polite thing to do.
Yeah.
It's not. A gym is not for conversation. An airport is not for conversation unless you're on your cellular device, and then you talk at an appropriate level.
Yeah.
The conversations and the level of the volume level that are had at airports, it's out of control.
Call.
Yep.
We just stopped going to airports.
Well,
Yeah.
you got 15 models deep. You're gonna be able to.
It's gonna get a fucking private plane. God
We
damn.
have. Hey,
This is gonna get
All right.
so much hate.
listen. You're throwing a lot of shade. Now you're not at private plane. Okay, plane is correct. You're not.
There.
Let's
We know
careful
where
on the
this is.
categorization of this transportation device. You almost died.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear that story.
Oh, 100% I do,
I wanna
because
hear that
you
story.
just so like
Skimmed over it.
casually dropped that on us at Barrett
Dude, a
Jackson.
Briggs and Stratton will only go for so long. You gotta stop for fuel. Like,
I think I'm gonna need another bourbon for this one.
Figure that out, dude. Because that was.
it was a little nonchalant
Yeah,
for the.
was it really as nonchalant as you made it out to be? Because you're just like, yeah, I'm about to die. Fuck
I guess
it.
it depends on who you are, but you
It
know,
sounds pretty serious.
I've been in the plane quite a bit. It's like this is Adam's first trip, so he experienced it. You know, it's little bumps here and there. Okay, cool.
Turbulence.
You know, it's a
Choppy.
little worse than commercial. So all right, so I've probably been in the plane 10 times. Nothing crazy has ever happened. So I think we're flying out to Barrett Jackson. We're over Louisiana, and just everything's good. We're bullshitting, having conversation.
Leonard Skinner dealt with the same thing.
Different outcome.
How'd that all work out?
Yeah, I thought about that. Yeah, and then Stuart looks at me, he's like, shit, I don't feel good. It's like all our ears kind of popped at the same time, and I don't know what the hell's going on. And I turn back and look at the pilot, and he's already got his fucking fighter mask, oxygen system on, like, and we're at this dive of, I don't know, couple 100 feet a minute or something. I don't know the correct terminology.
You're going the wrong direction.
Yeah, like holy shit.
In plain speak,
yeah,
you're going the wrong
dude,
direction.
the fucking oxygen mask drop, and like those fuckers drop, they drop for a reason. So like we lost cabin pressure, and it's all this shit happens within like 30 seconds, So I look back, and the fucking dash on the plane looks like a Christmas tree. There's fucking lights going off everywhere, alarms.
Control, delete.
Turn it off, turn it back on.
Dude, it's fucking loud when those alarms go off. Like, I don't know if it's to wake your ass up or what, but dude, it sounds like a damn fire alarm when shit's going off, and you're just like, all right, fuck, we are falling out of the sky right now. You ain't got control.
Maybe y'all just getting close to landing.
Yeah, so
Over Louisiana, it's a
so we look down, and we drop 20,000 feet in like, I don't know, 6 minutes or something. And we're like sitting there
That'll make
breathing
your ears
oxygen.
pop.
Yeah, sitting there breathing oxygen.
That's 2/3 of what you're flying at, right?
Yeah, you're typically 29,000
Yeah,
feet.
so
Yeah,
roughly
yeah.
2/3.
So we get down to like 10,000 feet or whatever, and everything's good. We're just at kind of, I guess, too high of altitude, but I was just kind of like, all right, cool, all right, fuck it. You can't control shit. It's not like you can fucking do anything. So I'm just kind of like, all right, fuck, this is what breathing on an oxygen mask, getting down to 10,000 feet looks like.
They say that this is proven. If right before impact you jump,
It's like an elevator.
yeah, you'll be okay.
I think that was on Mythbusters.
And they proved it.
Did it work?
Yeah, I'm. I have no
Yeah.
idea.
Typically, when I'm in the
second,
plane, if the pilot isn't twitching and squirming, like I got no reason to twitch and squirm. But yeah, I thought it was fucking fun. Like, hey, let's see what this looks like.
He's a
Breathe that
professional.
oxygen
He's
mask.
never gonna twitch and squirm.
No,
Yeah.
he was
Even
all
all
good.
the way into the fucking
He was
ground.
fucking all
At
good.
450 miles an hour,
But
straight face.
But bro, I've been in that plane, and like your head is bouncing off the ceiling, like just turbulence, and it's just pilot's like, yeah, man, this is normal. Just this is what it is.
Grab hold.
Yeah,
We've never had that problem in the public jet, have we?
We've had a lot more other problems, but not that particular problem. No.
The problem with that for me is that because I'm like mechanically inclined and I'm so trained to listen to noises and malfunctions, the whole time that I'm flying, I find myself like listening to every.
Never heard that noise before.
And then you're
That's a new one.
that sounds like a check engine light.
Yeah, that sounds like a
I don't know what's in it. I don't know what's in a jet engine.
That
But
right
that sounds
there.
like a bad bearing.
That sounds like a driveline, bro.
That's a worm gear trying to engage. That's a worm gear
Yeah,
trying
that thing is on its last leg. That fucker's gonna go.
Yep.
That turbo is about to
Yeah.
let loose.
Have you seen the amount of fuck ups in the air on airlines lately? In
Yeah,
just the last probably month.
Well, like
doors
the
coming
doors
open.
blowing off,
the
the plane
the
blowing
wings
off.
blowing off. This what are these
I
all
don't know,
like
dude.
70s era planes? There's a lot of fucking
I
weird
think
hairy
they're the
shit.
newest 737. Let's just throw
Really?
that out there. But there's a shirt that says they're allowing you to bring your own screwdrivers so you can help with maintenance.
Oh my god!
Do you know a little bit about what's going on with that?
No, not at all.
You're probably better off being on the 70s planes because
Yeah.
You've been up there for that long.
Yeah,
You can
generally.
smoke cigarettes.
Yeah.
You know.
You're in.
If you can find me an airline that allows smoking, I've never been able to smoke on a plane. It was
What
all
was
done
the-
before I flew.
What year did they cancel smoking on planes? Because I remember
well,
when
we
they
can-
started like
I'm gonna
pinning
guess
the-
it's
pinning
like
the ashtrays.
79, 81.
No.
No.
Had to be into the 90s.
Yeah.
Had to be in the 90s.
We
I've been on a
spent our
plane with them.
entire early childhood in the smoking section.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got the lungs of like a 85-year-old fucking Boca Raton grandmother from just
Are you
living
saying
with
on planes or restaurants?
just
all
from
of the
living with
above.
two chain smoking parents.
1988.
88.
Subsequently, following concerted lobbying efforts by health advocates, Congress passed legislation banning smoking on U.S. domestic flights, of less than 2 hours, which became effective in 1988. The law was made permanent and extended flights of less than 6 hours in 1990.
So 1990, it wasn't that long ago. Because I remember when they started pinning the ashtrays. The ashtrays were all on the planes.
Yeah.
And then they locked those fuckers up because I used to get smacked all the time because I would sit there and I would just
Flick it back and forth.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck with shit.
I would fuck with an ashtray like nobody you've ever seen.
Now you see somebody's kid doing something like that, and you're like,
Yeah, you just
Fidget spinner.
dude, back of a like a OBS or slant. No, what do you call it? Slant.
I bet
it
you
wasn't
did
a square
body.
body. Square Suburban, just flicking the shit.
Same thing. The conversion van. Yeah. If I click. Because it was this.
It was spring loaded.
and you had the rotating captain's chairs and the Regency conversion van.
Like Magnavox with
Fucking VCRs and shit.
Yeah, my mom had one. Dad got her a fucking conversion van.
It was a plush ride.
Yeah, she
That
was
was
super
a
happy.
daily driver, dude. That was like the extended wheelbase, like that. Had,
What was the personalized spare tire carrier?
it didn't
one had one.
That didn't have it, but the next one was a unicorn
A Ford Explorer.
Ford Explorer.
With a spare tire carrier?
Yeah, and it said
Eddie Bauer edition.
Eddie Bauer edition. He used to get the detailers to put. That was like the era. They'd have like binders full of all the stripe packages you could put on cars.
Yeah.
So it would be like a pink stripe with candy under the door handle, and then a fucking
hell
unicorn
yeah.
on a.
Hell yeah.
Was it it was a unicorn?
Yeah, it was a unicorn or a horse. Yeah, it was white with like a pink.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Spare tire covers on the way here in the Uber. There's a Jeep with a spare tire cover with a Jack Daniels bottle on it, and I was telling Cody that's a bold choice to drive around with.
That's
You
definitely.
may get a tail.
Yeah. 1:15 in the morning, you're fucking bored as shit, and you see one Jeep go by with a JD on the back. He might not be drinking.
50 shots.
Take a shot.
Did he signal that right turn?
Looks like you had a failure maintaining your lane. That's the failure to maintain lane is the
Have you gotten pulled over for that?
no. It just I watch a lot of live PD.
What's the worst thing I've gotten pulled over for?
The worst?
Worst.
Oh yeah, I got a good one.
I got pulled over in our green 70 Chevelle, and it had antique plates on it, which you can only drive like in the summer months and 2 car shows. And the cop was drilling me, made me open the trunk, and it had a fuel cell in it. And he couldn't grasp the concept that was the gas tank. And he was just reading me the riot act that's nitrous oxide, and I can't have nitrous oxide on the street. Really? Yeah.
You actually can. But
That was like right here, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was on. It was right in front of J. Alexander's on 94 in Lake Cook. Yeah,
pissed. You had a race car.
yeah.
I'm waiting.
You never
to hear.
dealt with that in the Miata?
No, I just go
Flies
too
under the
fast.
radar?
Yeah, I can't
It's
catch
going
up.
so fucking fast.
Just my the arrest ones were the ones that were the bad ones. Those were never pull over.
I'm waiting to tell my story last.
Those were after I was driving, then I parked, and then the cop showed up, and then arrests happened. That was probably the worst. No, like actual pulled over, always just been normal, like speeding things. Nothing like.
Yeah, I've had a handful in my adult life. They've nothing serious. Like I had one, I get pulled over for stupid shit. Like I got pulled over for just a seatbelt violation not far from my house. And the cop, he was a fucking bike cop. And the dude,
He caught
You
you.
pulled over for that?
no, he does
Were
a
those little boots?
U-turn.
Motorcycle or bicycle?
Motorcycle.
Okay.
Motorcycle. He does
Cat
he does a U-turn, and the dude dumps the fucking bike on its side because it's like should never have done it.
So he's pissed.
So he starts trying to maneuver in traffic. He dumps the bike like on the side. There's almost a car accident. Then he pulls a U-turn.
You waited on him?
No, I was moving.
Oh, got you.
And then he chases me down and pulls me over. So obviously
He's pissed. and
he's
embarrassed.
pissed, and I'm gonna let him know how fucking stupid that was, and was that worth pulling
good
me
idea.
over for what I did?
You led with that?
Oh yeah. I said, do you think that was worth it? I said, you almost caused 2 fucking accidents. You laid your bike on your side. That's hands down the stupidest thing I've ever seen anybody do. All to give me a ticket.
I'm sorry.
No, he didn't.
You gave him the fucking fingers.
Yeah, I gotta take it. I gotta take it on that one.
Yeah, I would imagine.
But probably the most epic one was I was like an instigator as a kid. Right?
Oh.
Hard to believe.
Yeah.
I'm in
Such a nice guy.
I'm in the passenger seat with Alex Litchfield. Remember Alex Litchfield?
Yeah.
Did you meet him? And he's got a Land Rover Discovery. It was his mom's car. And I'm saying something to him about like, we got on this kick of just like hitting like, various things on the road,
Gotcha.
mailboxes.
Right.
things.
Yeah, some stuff.
And I'm like, dude, hey, he was a year younger than us in high school. I'm like, dude, hit the fucking recycling bin over there. That was back when they were the little ones.
Just bump that.
So he
Tap it.
yeah, he wanted to go overboard to prove that he was super cool because I was an upperclassman. So he yanks the wheel. This is in like a residential neighborhood. Hits a full-size garbage can, a couple full-size garbage cans, hits the recycling bin. The recycling bin, it's one of those small ones, goes under the car, gets lodged under the car.
Of course.
Now he's trying to get it out from under the car. So to get it out from under the car, he's going coast to coast through people's lawns on this side, and then he's going this way.
How logical way to get it out.
Right, and then he's swinging it backwards, and it was uncomfortable for me because I'm like, he's gone too far.
You're ready to get away.
You've gone too far, and you're talking like tens of thousands of dollars of damage. And I'm 16 years old, and I'm like,
I just wanted you to
fuck.
hit the one
Yeah.
over.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, how bad this, all I said was hit the fucking recycling bin. He's destroying every mailboxes, lawns, garbage cans. Well, it finally peels out from underneath it. And we're cruising down. Now we end up on like Deerfield Road, like a main street, and we get rolled by a cop. And then it's like another cop. And another cop, and another cop, and another cop. This Deerfield is a quiet little town. Before you know it, it's like the entire Deerfield police force, right? And I'm sitting in the
up.
right, yeah. So I'm sitting in the passenger seat, and the cop is like drilling him. And I have my hands here, and I just drop my hands a little bit. Cops go crazy that I'm like hiding, so they yank me out of the car, and I was not doing anything. I'm just going like this, and they start questioning me, and they're asking us where we are. Well, me not really paying attention to where we were or where we went, I said with complete confidence that we were by a school. I was literally trying to tell the truth, but I said the wrong school. I'm like, we're over there by Woodland. And they're like, oh. And they go back, and you see them talk amongst themselves, and like, there's no way it could have been them. They were by Woodland School, which is way over there. They come back, and they're like, we're sorry.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Like, dude, we just destroyed like everything in sight, right? This would have been like headline news. And because I just wasn't fucking paying attention, I just misspoke. Like, we were over there by Woodland. I was nervous. I wasn't even trying to lie to him.
Fuck.
Like, it wasn't them.
There was one quick one. I remember years ago, when I first moved, when I got done, I did 1 year college in North Georgia, and then while I was there, my parents moved to Birmingham, so I got the college didn't.
Then did a nickel over in.
No, college just wasn't for me, and they politely asked me not to come back. So I left there that year and moved back with my parents in Birmingham. So, but all my friends were still in Atlanta. That's where I went to like middle school and high school and stuff like that. So I was working in Birmingham, and I remember like Friday, 5 o'clock, my bags were already packed in the truck. In my car. As soon as I got off, I hit the road. I'd drive back to Atlanta. You could do it in like 2 hours and 45 minutes, if you were rolling. And so I did that probably for a year and a half. Like every Friday, I would leave work, I'd drive back to Atlanta and hang out with all my friends. And then I would leave like Sunday, depending on what we were doing, I'd leave Sunday at anywhere from like 10 p.m. to like 4 in the morning. 4 in the morning was my drop dead because we had to be at work at 7. So I would roll from Atlanta back to shop at 7. This is like stupid 19-year-old dumb shit. So I did that all the time. So I had during that time working at a shop, doing all the import stuff. We did wheels, tires, nitrous, all that stuff. So I was building up my car. So I had a little Civic, fucking Rice Rocket, hammered on the ground, big wheels, full stereo in the back. Of course, all tweed interior, like tweed dash, tweed fucking steering wheel, tweed headliner, tweed.
Purple and gray?
This was all gray. All gray, all monotone, all monotone gray, everything, every single stitch of everything,
3
gauge
yards.
cluster of everything. Was
You
all
really
done
paint the
tweed.
fucking picture here.
So I'm rolling. Car's clean. I always kept it clean. It was pride and joy, right? And B18 swap, all this stuff. Anyway, doing my run, normal as always. And I always hit Douglasville, Georgia on 20 at about the same time, right? Not super late, but it was probably about 8:30, 9 o'clock, which is perfect time on a Friday night to be on 20 because there's nobody out. So you're rolling. I was probably going 80, 81, 82, something like that. I get pulled over, Georgia State Patrol. Pull over the side, comes out, boom, hey, you were speeding. And at that point, I think it was either 65 or 70. I wasn't going real fast, so I don't think it was going to be that bad. So he said, you're speeding. I was like, maybe a little bit and stuff like that. And he's like, step out of the car. So I step out of the car, and he's like, I want to search the vehicle. And I was like, all right, no problem, search it. At that point, I was not heavily into anything illegal on the drug side of things, right? So he starts searching. Fucking search it. I know there's not anything in there. So he's searching the car, blah, blah. Looks inside, looks at the stuff. So he opens the trunk, and there's a wall of 12s in the back, right? So there's nothing in there except 2 amps, 4 12s. He's like, I'm going to have to pull the speakers out. I was like, okay. And he asked me, he's like, you got a screwdriver? Not on me. He's like, so he goes back in the back and he gets a screwdriver out, one of these like little Unibit kits, right? And he's like this. And I'm on the side, I'm like, dude, I've got a fucking screwdriver. Like, all right, dude, come on. So he takes one speaker out, right, and pulls it, and looks in, and he's like, speaker box, puts that, and he's like, I'll let you tighten those back up. And I'm like, motherfucker, I got 2 hours to go. I want to listen to my music, right? So anyway, he looks in, and he picks up, I'll never forget this, because I know real well what weed looks like. And he picks up like what is it, like just a piece of grass, like from, and it's all tweed floor mats, very clean car. And there's one little piece of green. He's like, you know what this is? I was like, I don't. He's like, this is weed. I was like, no, that's not weed. He's like, how would you know? I was like, well, I've smoked weed before. I just don't have any in my car, and I don't carry around weed. That's probably grass that's picked up off my shoe.
It's probably grass from that fucking lawn job I just ripped like a quarter mile
like,
back.
I could take you to jail for this. I was like, really? He's like, I'm not going to. You just slow it down. No problem. Slow it down. And so the whole time, then I'm trying to listen to I had to turn the bass all the way down just because of the speaker. It was just, the whole time I'm like, you don't have to be a dickhead. Like, I wasn't doing anything wrong. I've done things wrong, but that wasn't one of those times. You've got one I know you're saving up.
Yeah, so probably my
Cop stories are the best.
worst pullover. We've been me and a couple buddies, been at the river all day drinking, just in my 20s. You can drink 100 beers. All right, let's go to the strip club. We're there. So we get out of the strip club, and it's, 2, 3 in the morning. And it was an argument of who had been drinking more and who could drive.
Is it an argument or
It's
a
a
competition?
test.
It was both. Yeah. I think it was competition. Yeah. Yeah. And somehow I wound up driving. So then we go to Whataburger. Y'all got Whataburger up here?
We do not.
Y'all had it?
Yeah, I had it.
Okay. It's fucking phenomenal.
Not as good as Crystal Burger, but
Fuck you.
I
It's way
disagree.
better than Crystal.
Yeah.
We'll get into that argument later. So anyways, we go to Whataburger real quick, get some fucking breakfast and fucking haul ass. It's, 3 in the morning. So we're cruising along. No big deal. We're in a cat eye Chevrolet truck. All right. So we're cruising.
very, very specific.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Very
remember.
specific.
Four-door truck.
I wasn't a fan of that body style. I had a couple.
So we're cruising, and we get to this point, and I don't know how the fuck this conversation come up, but you remember they probably still do it. I haven't been that fast in a truck yet, but it cut off at like 98 or 99 miles an hour.
It was
And it was like So it was like a newer truck. So I was like, what the fuck's this thing cut off at? And he's like, 99. I'm like, no, it doesn't. It's 98. I was fucking drunk. I didn't know. 98, 99, whatever it was. And I was like, we're like, fuck it. Let's see what it has. So there's like this bridge. It's very iconic in the area. You go up and then you go down. So I fucking hammered on that son of a bitch. And I don't remember what it hit, 98 or 99, but I remember winning whatever it was. So we come down off the crest and this fucking cop sitting there in the median This fucking pops his lights off, and we are shit faced. And so immediately pull over. Nicest dude ever comes up to the truck. He's like, "What's going on?"
We're chasing that fucker. He's trying to kill my sister.
It's like, what's going on tonight? And I'm like, oh man, I knew it. I was like, fuck, dude pulled us over at 100 miles an hour,
98.
Yeah.
Here goes the argument again.
Headed to work.
Yeah,
What are you doing?
Yeah, super fucking cool about everything. And he's like, hey man, license registration. Oh, okay. Like, hand it to him. He comes back and he's like, what are y'all driving so fast for tonight? I was like, hey man, just being stupid. And he's like, all right, I need you to step out of the vehicle. Got the same situation. Just being nice. He's being super nice, not being douchey. Dude, I opened the door and beer cans fall out of the truck. I mean, like,
Oh, sorry. Is this your 100 you dropped?
Those are
it was
all
one of those kinds of stops. He doesn't say a word. Takes me back to the truck. He's like, hey, we're arresting you for suspended license. I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? I have a suspended license. And then it dawns on me, like, just shut the crap up, just be quiet and just roll with this. I was like, oh, okay, all right, all good. And so he just cuffs me, takes me to jail for the night, overnighter.
Turns out you don't have a suspended license.
Yeah, absolutely. So I get some tickets and shit for speeding, and I think it was like endangerment of lives and shit like that. But the craziest part was, so I'm like, what the fuck, man? So I go to the courthouse, like, I don't know, the next Monday, get out of jail, and I go in there and I go talk to the girl. And I'm like, hey, this is what happened to me, And I was like, I don't know why I'd have a suspended license. She's like, types it in, and she looks at her computer, and she's like, all right, I gotta get my manager. Manager comes over, looks at it, and she's like, oh yeah, y'all fucked up, didn't you? Yeah, something's bad wrong. So she starts talking to me, asking me what happens, and I guess I'd paid a ticket late, and I guess the girl has to file some type of paperwork if you file it late. Well, she just pushed it through like normal, so it looks like I didn't pay the ticket or something, so suspended license. So they had to refund me my bail money. Yeah, from like the city. Yeah, because they just totally fucked up.
I'm just a normal citizen doing my job, and you've arrested me.
Yeah, but ended up getting out of jail, going to the guy, and was like, I got it on fucking paper. The motherfucker does 98 miles an hour. So yeah, fastest speeding ticket that I've ever had. Just walked away from.
Nice.
Could have been a worse night. Yeah,
I've never had to spend any time in jail.
It's not that bad.
I spent that night in jail. You want to talk about that? You want to talk about a night in jail?
How was it? What happened? What went down?
Do you have friends in there?
Definitely, I wish. It made the
I
night
had
a
friends
lot.
two at the time, so it was all good.
Made the night a lot better. But go in. It was Sallyport, is what they call it. So they take your belts off of you, anything metal, any kind of jewelry. I think I had my fucking ears pierced or tongue pierced or something at the time. Yeah, take all that shit out, fingerprint you, and they put you in these fucking sandals. So you got to wear these orange sandals, and I just happened to get a set that come out of the dishwasher. I don't know what it came out of, but every time I walked, it squirted fucking water out of them. Yes. So you're all fucking night. Every
That'll
time
make
you
you a
walk,
friend.
yeah, you're just in these fucking orange sandals that are foam that are squirting fucking water out of them. So yeah, then you get fingerprinted, then you get thrown in a cell that's like, I don't know, 65 degrees, and you're freezing your ass off, half drunk, and you have to sleep on stainless benches. You sit in there because they want you to sober up before you can leave. Yeah. So you get your phone call. It's phone call time. All right.
Who do you call?
Domino's.
Yeah. So yeah, like fucking guy at Hungry Howie's knows my address at least.
What's he doing now?
It's one of our blasters.
I haven't heard the Hungry Howie's reference in a long time.
I've never even heard of that, but I love it.
Hungry Howie's.
It's
Good,
a cheap
solid
pizza
name.
place.
Good
But it's good.
Shit.
Love me some Hungry
Good
Howie's.
shit.
So anyways, it's time to get to my phone because like fuck, everybody's got a cell phone. Nobody remembers a goddamn cell phone number. So it's like in a plastic bag. So you got to open up your phone in the plastic bag and try and work it through the bag. So I call my roommate. I'm like, all right, I get his number out of there. I go to the fucking payphone or whatever it is. And I'm like, all right, need a ride. This dude doesn't know where the jail is. It takes him 3 hours to find the jail. So I'm sitting there just like, what the
chilling.
fuck? Yeah, just chilling. He finally shows up like 3 hours later. He's like, dude, how the fuck do I know where the jail is? You got to remember, this is all back before like Google Maps and fucking all that bullshit.
Is this MapQuest era?
Yeah, this is MapQuest era. So it took me fucking, I don't know, till like 9 o'clock the next day just to get out of jail for something stupid. But yeah, probably the worst thing other than breaking my arm. And yeah, that was a whole situation. But
Damn.
Yeah, it was fun.
Got anything?
Next.
Oh man, yeah. So I've got doing donuts in a movie theater parking lot while leaving. Yeah,
Is that a specific code? Like doing donuts.
914.
914. Donuts in a movie
we
theater.
were longboard skateboarding in a brand new movie theater parking lot, and I see the cop coming in as I'm doing donuts, and there's a friend skateboarding around, and we just take off. And he pulls me over. Hey, I think you left your buddy back there. He lets us go, but to make this not 30 minutes long, we'll jump ahead to a separate story, which is also tubing down the river.
Love these river stories.
Yeah. So I'm only an accessory to this, still legally bonded. So we are absolutely shit-faced. The place that rents the canoes and the tubes closes at like 6 p.m. or dark or whatever, and we're taking longer to float down the river than that. Finally get back and they're closed. It's probably 2006, and my buddy has a 2002 WS6, extremely clean car.
Oh yeah,
Damn, that's a bad motherfucker.
6-speed.
WS6 on the back. Might as well be a pro mod.
It looked like a pro mod.
It was the fastest. It was the fastest car in this dirt parking lot for sure. And gets up on this 2-lane highway and just starts ripping it while people are loading their coolers and everything into the cars, and noses it straight into the guardrail. Completely wrecks the shit. People are pulling out their big brick cell phones, calling the cops because not everybody is involved in this. And we go grab this guy. We'll call him Nick. And
Based on the era of the WS6, I think we're past the statute of limitations.
We'll call him Nick. His name's Nick.
yeah, we'll just throw his last name out there too. So we're all flipping out and like tuck him in the back of my buddy's extended cab truck laying down. And it's this long highway that goes back into this small town he's from that's out in the middle of nowhere. But as we're leaving, there's cops just coming and coming. And
What's going on?
yeah. So then there's people riding in the back of trucks and stuff. One of them, another buddy gets pulled over thinking that's him in the back. Well, we get Nick out of there. Next morning, they've got his tag. Obviously, his car is still there. Go up to his apartment and ask him if he was involved in this crash, and he's like, I don't know anything about it. So instead of a very harsh DUI, it gets abandoning a scene of a crash, I think. So took that down quite the notch.
Somebody stole my WS6.
Nicely done.
Dude, those cars were the shit.
Dude, weren't they?
Just blew the T-tops right out of it.
Oh man.
You didn't see a lot of them, but man, that hood coming at you.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
Like you were a
and
fucking
bumper. That was
stud
double snorkel.
if you had a WS6.
Feel it an SS,
It
which
did
was
WS6 dunk on
pretty
the SS.
badass. But the W has 6.
Yeah.
That was an
Yeah.
ultimate
Slam
drifting
them.
vehicle.
Fucking rowdy.
Ram Air.
What was
It
that?
was
I
the
mean,
Ram Air.
we're all saying that now, but what
302
was that thing? Yeah,
horsepower.
it was like 380 horse, probably.
No, it wasn't even like
They put
320.
down like 305, I
Yeah,
think.
really? It
Wheels.
was an LS1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
LS1, that was
Ram Air.
T56.
Ellis Ram
Yeah,
Air.
the skip- with the skip
Ram Air.
shift.
Yeah.
The fucking
Yeah,
skip
2 to
shift
5.
sucked.
You got to
That
put that
was
little
the
chip in
Ram
there.
Air introduction. Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
Oh man.
Trevor got one of those, I think. You see it?
Did he?
Yeah. He posted
That was
it.
like a Lightning era.
So
too.
in our era,
Yeah.
back in the
Lightning WS6.
WS6. So that time was Corey, you know all the Corey stories, right?
Sheetrock.
Sheetrock Corey. Corey had a Z28, right? He had.
I want to hear more about Sheetrock Corey already.
It's a solid name.
So
We all know that guy.
Corey always had his red Z28,
No
right?
dirt bike Mike.
Like probably 4 of them since when we met when we were like 14, and like I turned 15, he turned 16. He had red Z28, probably 4 generations the time we knew each other. So that was all Atlanta. This was 95, 96, 97, 98 even. And Stone Mountain, Georgia was the cruise spot on Sundays, and we'd go up to the dam at Lake Lanier on Saturdays and stuff. That was the cruise thing, right? Well, at that point in time, there was a company called Dugan. Dugan Mustangs was the shit back in the 90s, right? So they build badass Fox bodies, the Cobras, and then the
SVT.
the SVTs, but the what is it?
SLP.
SN95.
SN90 that bubble
Fucking
body.
alphabet
Yeah.
we're spitting out here.
So they were very
a 90s
specific
person.
on branding wise. Even back then, I always paid attention on branding, like everything. And if it was a Dugan tuned Mustang, it had the same Dugan sticker on the windshield banner, right? Every single one of them. So that was the shit. Like we always could keep a lookout for WS6. We were street racing all the time. If you keep a lookout for the WS6 hood, right? And then you'd see Fox body. But if you saw a Dugan sticker on thing, that was always like fear.
Don't
It was
fuck
always
with
like, oh, fuck, it's a Dugan Mustang. Fuck. And at Stone Mountain on Sundays, that was where all the big cars came out, right? And you would cruise like clockwise. Like you could go both directions, but like the cruising side, all the cool cars would go one direction, and then you'd hit one big parking lot, and then you'd like change directions. And it would be some of the baddest, well, back in that day, the baddest
400.
cars. I mean, Lightnings. I mean, the SVT Cobra car then, like with the backseat delete.
that was
and
the
then
shit.
wing.
The big wings.
Oh, the Cobra R.
The Cobra R.
That's a bad bitch.
Shit.
Dude. Still to this day, that's a cool fucking car.
Yeah. And it was just those rumbling around. And then there was a couple of back streets you'd find and do a little street racing and shit like that. But a Dugan Mustang back in the 90s.
I don't
Anybody's
remember
listening?
those.
I've never even heard of them.
There's like,
Let me-
Butler Performance, right? There's all
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're in Atlanta too. But Dugan was the Ford Mustang guys
Let
in
me
Georgia.
ask you a question. Did Sheetrock Corey ever put $100 bill on the dashboard?
No.
Trying to grab that.
Old Sheetrock Corey, you go out there,
Hot
hold
cocaine.
Sheetrock Corey, he throw $100 bill on the dashboard. And he say, if you can grab that $100 bill,
You keep it.
He didn't.
That's your car. That's your
That's,
car.
that's
I
Uncle
feel like
Charlie
you
from
can
Hutchinson,
grab-
Kansas.
everybody that's south of the Mason-Dixon line, I've heard tell that story.
There's been
It's
some
a different
stories of
car.
that.
It's
Yeah.
like, buddy of mine had
He had a car
alright.
so fast, I'm telling you what.
But $100
You put it
bill
on
on
the
that.
dashboard. You take off, you're going to grab it.
That 3/4 cam glass packs.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Some
Ford
bitch out the
Lightning,
cocaine and wet grass.
Ford Lightning, my buddy put $100 bill on the dashboard. It's like-
Best piece of advice you've ever received?
If you're not learning, you're backing up.
It's good. What about you?
I don't know if it was put real eloquently or anything, but growing up working with my dad and everything, it was something along the lines of, if somebody built this, I can figure out how to take it apart and do it again and replicate it.
That's good.
For sure.
Best car movie?
God, I've got so many, but
So you were gonna say fucking Zoolander, aren't you? Because of the Bronco, the gas. that's the gas fight scene.
I think mine would
Doodlebug,
be, I think mine would be Rush.
Rush.
Oh. That's a
Niki
good one.
Lauda and
Yeah.
James.
Lauda and Hunt.
That's good.
Yeah,
It's a little emotional for me.
that's I think
little
that was the
tearjerker.
golden era of Formula One. Actually having to shift gears, the Hollywood lifestyle,
V12s.
the development of cars, like it's just badass movie, man.
You don't think it's still that way?
It's still badass. It's just a
I'm
little
a
different.
huge Formula One fan. I probably started watching it 10, 15 years ago. I had a roommate that got me into Formula One. It was so just inspiring. Like, this is where this shit trickles down from. All automotive
It's the
technology
pinnacle.
comes from Formula One.
Yeah.
And Sebastian Vettel that was my roommate's guy. He was a Red Bull guy at the time, and Red Bull hasn't always been badass. So like he's like, oh, this is my guy. So naturally, it was my guy. You know, so just watch Red Bull go through all that and just watch the cars evolve from, you know, V12s to V10s to V6s to twin turbo to all the different things. But yeah, Formula One is the shit. You know, I just don't think I think Drive to Survive's done so much for Formula One, but I still don't think just Americans grasp where automotive technology comes from and where it trickles down from, you know. NASCAR is this thing, and I'm not here to hate on NASCAR, but Formula One is the pinnacle of all racing, in my opinion.
It is. There's so many things about what they do that I just don't get. Obviously everything on the engineering side and performance is above my head, and it's the pinnacle. Sure. The pinnacle is the best way to describe it. Just from a team management side and stuff like you see with Hamilton, like it's weird to me to announce like, hey, we're going to keep racing this year, but you know I'm gone. Like I've now come out and said that I'm leaving after next year, but we're going to race this whole year together. That's just such a weird thing. Like an American NASCAR, like that shit don't happen. We're not going to race together. It does when maybe some team changes and stuff like that, but that's very weird.
You know what I think that you've never... Like, what would help you better understand this is if you ever had 9-figure contracts in front of you. Then you would understand. Then it's like easy. It's like, oh yeah, sure, I'll just keep driving this fucker for the rest of the year. And like,
yeah, I understand.
Yeah, man, absolutely, sure.
The team all working together behind a driver that they know that you're not building something on, that whatever they're doing is going to be done at the end of the year. It's just it's weird. It's hard to understand to see that all the engineers and all the pit guys and all the stuff like that to continue to push 100% to build a relationship there's no sense in building a relationship.
That might be an American way of thinking of things, and maybe they see it differently. They're giving it their all no matter what. I don't know.
And I mean,
it's just different.
Look at Daniel Ricciardo. Red Bull paid him not to race with anybody else. You know, that's the kind of money there is in Formula One. They weren't paying him to have a backup driver. They're paying him so nobody else can take him.
It's just different.
Yeah, it is. It's totally different. I think it's a different respect level. It's a marketable driver campaign. It's not it's NASCAR so much different. And everybody that I know loves NASCAR. It just hates Formula One.
Really? Well, I like both of them. It's just things I don't understand.
Yeah, and it's a huge culture and just the way they do business and the way they talk, and they don't get riled up on TV, and they don't talk shit about each other. Yep. They don't get in fights, and they're not beating the shit out of each other.
They talk a little bit of shit.
Yeah. They talk shit to their pit crew while they're out in the car too.
That's wild too. Yeah. They're more disrespectful to their team while they're driving than NASCAR is.
But I like the way that they put it. It's like they're
politely go fuck yourself.
Ripping, and it's like this car's fucking bullocks. Fuck you, mate. This car fucking sucks. Fuck you right in the fucking I hope your fucking family dies. This guy's a fucking bloody piece of shit. Fuck you, mate.
Yeah. It's so weird.
But at this, you're like, oh, he's so calm and collected.
Yeah.
You know? I like the sport a lot. I'm not a big race fan in general. I don't follow a lot of like race car stuff, but I like the level of perfection, you know, and professionalism in it. Like how just advanced it is super fucking cool.
I like how they find the loopholes in the rules. That's the big thing, the gray area. Like if it's not worded correctly, they try and manipulate that, and it's to see who can manipulate the rules every year to make the best cars. I think the most exciting. Do y'all watch every race, or y'all that deep into it?
I tape every race. I watch probably like 60%.
3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh yeah, set that DVR, and then Sunday morning, if I can have a little surprise and treat in the morning.
DVR.
I got the app, so I watch it through the Formula One app, so you can watch the whole 2.5 hour race. But just to see the upgrades throughout the year that they do to like try and make the car better. And you can see the teams that got the money and that can like, okay, we're smart motherfuckers. We know how to go faster. And the guys that copied somebody's car the year before and they're going in and they can't go any faster.
That's the crazy part to me is like, why have so many teams when it's just like 4 of them?
That's the part, like, it's the best of the rest. So you know you're not going to win. Like, why how do you spend that much money and that much effort to know you're going to finish maybe 5th at best?
That is a mystery.
It's so weird. There again, I think it's so entertaining. I love everything they do about it because it's just so different from any of our normal daily lives, right? And you see, I mean,
You're not racing Miatas.
the entire cities. Well, you're right. I'm not. The cities that they put together. I mean, the stuff, everything that goes along with it is just such excess, and it's so enjoyable to watch. There's just so many things that I'm like, why? Like Williams and places like, you know, people like that. And you're like, that's a lot of money to spend. And you don't go in and be like, NASCAR, at least you got guys, you're like, you know what? We play our cards right. We do a little bit of pit strategy. We do this. We're always good on 1.5 mile tracks. We do this kind of stuff. We're going to stay out late. We're going to play the fuel mileage. We're going to do this. You've got a chance, right? And it's such a drama between, there's so many things going on where it's like, it's hard to root for like some of the guys at the bottom because you're like, yeah, it's fucking cool. I kind of like you, but you're
never going to win.
You're never going to win. You're absolutely never going to win unless 16 of the cars wreck, then you maybe can.
Dude, it's no different than like any other professional sport. Like look at boxing, right? It's not like you've got some bum that's going to like come up the ranks. And
it happens.
Well, what's
very
crazy?
seldom, dude.
Fucking heavyweights get beat all the time.
What's crazy about Formula One is the slower guys have more money. They have more wind tunnel time. They have more testing time.
So what are they doing? What are they fucking doing?
That's what's crazy. The guys at the top, the more points you score, the higher you score, the less wind tunnel time you have, the less budget you have. They give more to the bottom feeders because they're not as good. Yes, trying to equal everything out.
So why are they not
I
getting
didn't know
better?
that.
Yeah. And
What the fuck? How much more money you need?
But that's the thing, though. You can have a budget, but you might not have the sponsors to be able to pay for it. You know, so you might be Williams or Alpine or Haas, and you know, who wants to pay for a team that's not winning? You know, so even McLaren is right there with Ferrari right now. So.
Dude, I'm surprised though with like in today's day and age, right? You've got some big sponsors, Ferrari, you know, Red Bull. Like, where the fuck is like OnlyFans and Pornhub? Dude, put that on a fucking car. Seriously, I mean, there's big fucking money.
That's NASCAR money.
Well,
that's not F1 money. You know what I mean? That's the professionalism.
I don't know, man.
That's NASCAR audience too.
Yeah, for sure.
I think you'd be surprised.
Yeah.
You don't think OnlyFans could fucking swing a Formula One team?
No, that's not what he's saying. No,
it's just the demographic.
Yeah,
you're saying?
exactly.
Yeah.
It's
the professionalism.
But imagine that.
He's not going to have Rolex and OnlyFans sponsor a Grand Prix.
But imagine the difference on like on the podium. You know, you've got like Daniel Ricciardo who's talking about like how he won the Grand Prix, or you've got like, yeah, we fucking beat these cocksuckers. You know, these fucking ass. Like, yeah, we hammered down. The fucking car was running good. Like,
so you and Jim Ring on one team.
You talking about boxing? Did you see who's fighting in July?
Who?
Tyson?
No
way.
He's not fighting. What's the
He's a fucking stud
YouTuber
now, though, dude.
Jake Paul.
Is he really?
He's fighting Jake Paul.
Dude, he's a fucking stud, though.
July
He looks
20th.
better at, like, I don't know what, 60 years old or
I
whatever
love
he is.
Tyson. I love fucking
He says
Tyson.
he's
Isn't there
gonna
something with Jake Paul
Who
that
says?
you can't hit him in the face or something?
That's
I don't watch it too.
no, they've got it. Supposedly
really
there's a
gonna
no
happen?
knockout clause.
Okay.
But
That's fucking
Fuck
bullshit.
that.
so July 20th, Tyson's fighting Jake Paul, and it's streamed on Netflix.
Evander Holyfield.
Tell me who's getting fucking paid. He says he's going to be the one to end it.
Who?
Tyson says he's going to end Jake Paul.
Dude, I'm a huge Tyson fan.
I think he's going to lose.
Dude, there will be a new
But you think he's
Tyson,
gonna actually lose?
PlayStation game come out.
What do you mean? That'd be
Nintendo.
awesome.
Punch out.
I don't think he'll lose. I mean, maybe in a decision.
In that
reality
match,
of it
in that
is-
match, he'll come out possibly a loser.
But the reality of it is that I think Tyson would knock that dude's head
Well,
off.
I understand that,
all
but that's
money.
not the reality that
It's
we're
all
living
money.
in.
It's all money.
I think there's
Oh, yeah,
only one
100%.
person that beats Jake Paul.
Who's that?
I think they're
Conor McGregor on a rematch.
for the money.
Yeah.
Well, not a rematch. He's never ever fought.
Oh, you're right. I was thinking
Yeah.
of Mayweather.
That's
right?
McGregor.
Yeah, you're probably right.
McGregor's not going to be able to fight
Yeah, but
UFC.
dude, the reality of it is that I think in a real fight, he'd knock the shit out of McGregor.
I agree. I'm
Because-
talking about the way the fucking backside money things, and that's just what makes sense for the most everybody. Mm-hmm. You're already setting the stage. You're telling me if Netflix is streaming it, this isn't pay-per-view. Right. This isn't internet.
This is paid. Yeah,
this is Netflix.
Fabricated.
And it's Tyson and Jake
fabricated.
Paul.
Yes, totally fabricated.
I think the whole thing is.
100%.
I've never watched one.
Hey, I'm telling you.
I'd fucking get the shit kicked out of me for a couple $1 million
Good for him. A fucking couple of kids from Ohio that said, "Fuck this, watch what we're gonna do."
Yeah, I have no problems with him at all. But the reality of it is like just if you let Tyson just fucking go to work, I think even at his age he'd rip his head off.
I think you're right, but the reality is everybody wants to talk shit about either of the Paul brothers,
right?
No, I wouldn't be signing up.
No, I
get
wouldn't.
In the ring.
No way. I mean, depending the dollar amount.
Yeah.
Not that I'm
which all these people are all signed up for.
It's just how much money would it take?
But dude, I'll tell you what. If the stakes were high, if you're talking like $10 million, $10 million, and you step into the ring with him or Tyson, I'm stepping in the ring with him all fucking day long. Because Tyson would kill you. That's
you think so?
That's
even
like
today,
dude. That's $10 million, and you better have your will in order
even
to
today?
Be like, hey,
Tyson ain't got the power he used to have.
Yeah, I don't.
He used to punch old ladies that take their purse.
He
used to rob old women on the street.
Yeah. I don't.
That's not a Vine superstar.
Right.
I don't know if he's got the power he used to have.
That's the real deal, though, dude.
Yeah,
that's the real deal. 25 years ago, time comes for us all. It comes for us all.
What do they say?
He used to have a fucking tiger. That was fucking cool.
A fighter.
But he ain't got one no more.
His punch is the last thing to leave. Right?
Is it?
You didn't watch Rocky Balboa?
I don't think that was truth. That was a movie.
No, it's the truth, dude. It's Rocky
movie.
Balboa.
It's true.
Hey.
Wait. Are you trying to end this? Dude,
Adam's favorite movie.
What? Sorry. All right. Oh, go ahead.
There's just...
We get to Adam's favorite car
you've been
movie.
working on.
By the way, I want to hear it. I want to know what that dude's favorite car movie is.
Yeah, we didn't get
How did we move off of that?
The easy answer is gone in 60 seconds, but I'm going to go left field and say probably Death Proof.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Because it's a badass Nova.
Badass Nova.
And
They've
Tarantino.
got Tarantino mostly, Vanishing Point Challenger, where those chicks are riding all over the hood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's
Death
just a
Proof is
crazy
good.
idea.
That's Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kurt Russell kicks ass.
Only this
Kurt
seat's
Russell's
Death Proof.
Fucking stud.
Yeah, Kurt Russell's
Still with Goldie on.
Is he really?
Yeah.
It's also a good visual because you see stuff come up periodically, like on social media, as to why you shouldn't put your feet up on the dashboard. If you want to know why not to put your feet on the dashboard, watch Death Proof.
It's still kind of fun to do, though.
When you just see that chick's leg just get sheared off.
Stop. Tarantino's got a way.
Yeah.
He's got a way.
Every movie.
Yeah.
There's good cars in Hollywood, whatever it is.
Hollywood Nights?
No,
Brad Pitt
Tarantino.
movie.
What was
Once Upon a Time in
Tarantino's
That's
with
it. Once upon a time in Hollywood.
with
That's a good
George
fucking movie.
Clooney and the Selma Hayek, the
Dust Till Dawn.
Dust Till Dawn.
And Dust
Still-
Till Dawn, Desperado. and all
Still
that
to this
there.
day, Dust Till Dawn is one of my.
Wasn't
he's
Antonio
probably my top
Banderas?
6 movies of all time.
Yeah.
Antonio Banderas.
Yes.
You said. Antonio Banderas used to be a bad motherfucker.
Selma Hayek in Dust Till Dawn.
Yeah.
Is what?
Pulp Fiction, if it's
Pulp Fiction's
Listen,
good.
it is a
but
damn good movie.
I didn't respect it near as much at that time.
Until you started experimenting with drugs as you got older.
You know, you go back and watch it and like pay attention more or whatever. It's way more enjoyable than.
I mean, if we're talking Quentin Tarantino, but I guess fucking Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas is probably my favorite movie of all time.
I'm not enough stoner for that.
That
was
wasn't
just-
even a
it was-
stoner when I
I
watched
feel like
it.
that movie and Reservoir Dogs are two that I've never. I think I need to revisit.
Dogs.
I've watched Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas like 2 or 3 times. I've got buddies that just love that movie, and I mean, there's good parts, but it's like being with a bunch of drunks when you're not drunk.
That's not Quentin Tarantino, is it?
No,
it's not.
Stuff I'm not.
sorry.
But it's just like it's one of those things like, oh fuck, I see where you're going with this, but like fucking sober up already. I don't know. That's just me on the Fear and Loathing thing. People fucking love that.
I think you got to be a Johnny Depp fan too. Like,
Yeah.
It's like
understand him.
3.5 hours long
Yeah,
or
it's a
something.
fucking long movie, but yeah, it's so
I
fucking
gotta
good.
give it another run. I haven't seen it for years.
Yeah,
The
badass.
Dusk Till Dawn, I got to give another run. I haven't watched that in a while. Fucking Quentin Tarantino's a fucking weirdo in that. He's in it.
You know they're making another Days of Thunder, right?
Another Days of Thunder?
Oh, yeah,
With Tom Cruise?
yeah,
No way.
yeah. It's
Holy
happening.
shit.
Yeah.
What the fuck? They're gonna fuck that
What'd
up.
you expect? They were doing it. They did
It's,
it. Top Gun
what's his
too.
name? Robert.
I'm not sure who else is going to be in
What's his
it.
name?
Yeah.
The
Bald guy.
Harry. What's his name?
Who?
In real life, the mechanic, the fucking crew chief.
Harry Hogg.
No, he's
Robert Duvall.
Yeah,
He's still kicking, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to give you 3/4-inch fuel lines so you'll hold another gallon of gas or
We've been
whatever.
talking about it. The
pan an inch
the
lower.
christening of the new basement and home theater is Days of Thunder. We're about 7 or 8 days out from that happening. So it's
wait,
Days of Thunder. I don't have Laserdisc, but we're gonna watch it
Back
in
in like,
4K.
what do you think? What was it? 91, 92? 91, 92? 91, 92. Old dad put the fucking home theater and got surround sound.
I'm dropping the hammer.
And that was
No, you're not.
Do it.
that was Days of Thunder on Laserdisc.
Yeah.
There was a Days of Thunder ride at Carowinds in a theme park in South Carolina. And I'd never watched the movie yet, but this is when it was new. I was probably 6 or 7. And we went to that ride, and I'm sure there's pictures somewhere of me standing next to the Mellow Yellow car.
Oh, yeah.
First under the pants over the boxer's handy J was for was Days of Thunder on Laserdisc.
Really?
Yeah, with Infinity
You're a
Sound
little,
System.
you're a little
Laser
older
disc.
than me.
On Laserdisc.
That was when the House of Color Neon was introduced. Was that movie?
Really?
The Superflow car.
Yeah. Mellow Yellow. All his cars are bright ass
City
colors.
Chevrolet.
That's when like House of Color had a huge influence on that. I went to a
Shit.
Yeah, DuPont had the Dayglow.
John Kosmosky class. I don't know, 10 years ago, and he was talking about that. But that's where
He was
they
yelling
launched
about that, and they wasn't
Neon.
talking about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's fucking crazy.
You got so many more
dude.
We had him do his. You've been crafting something. So.
No, I haven't been crafting since we sat down.
Yeah.
I've been snickering. Right. I've been just. I can't.
This
keep
is
it in.
mean. If this is mean, stop.
It's mean. It's mean. It's
Yeah, do it.
Let it out.
And I'm sitting here looking at.
This is
Cody.
about gray beards.
No, and I'm looking at you, and I can't help but think that like you are Josh if he didn't turn into such a fucking bitch. Like, seriously, like look as I'm sitting here looking at you with like the beard, the fucking tattoos, and the muscles. It's like if you didn't turn super metrosexual, if you stayed in Alabama, like because I used to think. I mean, honestly, I think we're gonna cultivate our friendship. I think we're gonna be probably best friends. And I'm trying to transition this friendship because I used to think you were super fucking badass, and then you got a little fruity, right? And he like as I'm sitting here looking, I'm like, dude, this is like he's like everything I used to think Josh was. It's fucking pretty badass. Like
I left the South, man. Maybe
Yeah.
that's lost.
you want to go
Dixie left.
Do you want to go tubing? Are we? Can I come down? You want to?
Dude, we're taking.
You couldn't fucking handle tubing. You need to get in a tube in a pool first before you go down the fucking river. I'm telling you what.
You called it a little bitch.
I'll do some shit on a tube that you've
You've
never seen anyone do
Seen
before.
someone do,
Yeah,
Dude, we will
I get on a
take
tube. You're
y'all.
fixing to see somebody do some shit like
you
you've
can't.
never
I'm telling
seen.
you what. You ain't going down on the Ocoee on a fucking tube. You ain't going down the Chattahoochee on a tube. You're not. You need to stay. Let's find.
Hey, I'll tell you right
the
now.
creek that feeds your lake. Tube that.
I'll
first.
tell you right
And
now.
then
If it gets hotter than a hoochie coochie down there, then I ain't going. But
That's it. Swanee.
We'll take y'all on a real tubing trip, riding on the fucking school bus with all your
Yeah.
tubes fucking
It's-
behind you.
It's a
Whole
humbling
9 yards.
experience.
Whole fucking 9. We'll take y'all. Y'all
You
have
gotta
a
have
fucking
a
blast.
tubing trip. You gotta be dropped off, and you gotta send somebody down to be able to pick you up because you're gonna go for the fucking day, and you've got a drop off point, right? You might go 50 fucking miles.
right.
You're detached
2
from
days.
the world.
So
Till
with
you
the
hit that spot, you're
like with the tubing and all that, do you find it intimidating? Is it like sitting next to him?
He's fucking probably where I would have been. Why don't you fuck off for fucking bring it to,
Is that
all
like,
you ever
hey,
did was make fun of me for being too country.
do you look
I
at that?
I citied it up and now I'm a bitch.
You know what I feel like? I feel like it's like early '90s, and you're like, man, I think I'm gonna invest in this Amazon. I got like $10,000 I'm gonna put in it, and somebody's like, don't do it. And now today, you're like, oh fuck.
It's a
Is it the regret?
Probably. Yeah, it's a valid point.
And Cody's head's just going.
I'm just.
Man, you're not a good person.
Aren't you fighting now?
We're not.
He's
yet.
trying to
They gotta put the. We ain't fighting for fucking free. They gotta put the money up before we fight.
Yeah.
Oh, the two of
okay.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Florida,
what the
looks like
listeners
the
want.
Florida country.
Georgia
Florida, Georgia line. Yeah,
Oh, them-
yeah.
They
How'd that go?
fucking
How'd
bring
that
it.
all
Yeah.
evolve?
Everybody likes to get out there and be like, I know, I can set it up. Well, set it fucking up. They ain't walked through that fucking door yet. I guarantee you that.
Florida Georgia line.
How's all that settled down? How's all that going? Are we trying to whip ass or what? What's going on with
Yeah,
that?
Now, the more he says I'm a fucking bitch, the more people will
Has he
ashes I gotta
responded?
say.
Oh, hey,
Has he responded in public?
No.
No,
We
I
had
think he's got a
connections.
few more
Is he
things to
aware
worry
of
about.
this?
Dude, we had like publicists.
Does he know this exists?
Yeah, he does. Granted, like it's not on his radar at all. But like we have people with direct connections. 3 or 4 people reached out. They're like, oh yeah, like I know his manager. Like, we do marketing for him. Like,
I'm gonna ask you a serious question right now. I get it that he's a busy man.
Yeah.
As many people has reached out to you and to me and to him that all have connections. You're telling me it's never made its way back to him, either of them. And you don't think they've done a little YouTube, a little Instagram searching and stuff like that? They probably saw something they didn't want to fucking see, right? they probably didn't want to bite off more than they could chew. I guarantee you it got out to what they to them, and they said, "Hey, maybe nothing there for us."
There's no fucking way.
That's my story.
There's nothing but air and opportunity.
Yeah, there was the fucking air. Yeah, exactly.
Come on, old son.
That motherfucker was like Josh Henning. What the fuck is this dude?
Yeah,
Dude, Chicago's a long way from Nashville. That's a long way to tote one.
So you're holding your guns. You think
No, the one dude's
We
kind of
gotta
big.
make this happen.
The one dude's kind of big.
This has to
He kind
happen.
of seems a little cool. I don't know their names either. one of
Yeah,
them,
which
but-
one's Florida? Which one's
Yeah,
Georgia?
the one dude's kind of big. The one that drives a square body, I think we could hang out. The other one,
that's walking it
other one
back.
smokes fucking cloves and yeah.
I see this all coming together. I'm hearing that you're talking about Talladega. We're talking about Tubin. I'm seeing this all coming together in like
pasture fight.
yeah, it's like a field.
Talladega
Right?
infield for sure.
It's like dazed and
If
confused.
there's a Talladega infield fight with me and Florida or Georgia from the line, so be it. That's full
pretty
circle
sweet.
right
Sell
there.
tickets.
Full circle. Yeah. We always do the first car.
First car.
We've been off the game a little bit lately.
Bo was tough, dude. I backed out of that.
Yeah, you did.
He too wild of a guy, and you failed miserably at that. You should
No, I was close-ish.
you should have backed off, dude.
I was
That
close-ish. I'm going to take my shot. If it's wrong, it's wrong.
All right.
You were in Orange Beach at 16.
In Pensacola, working in Orange Beach.
In Pensacola, in Orange Beach.
What year?
16,
16.
2003.
Ooh,
Yeah, I got it.
that's
There's a
that
Ford
throws me
Ranger
off.
Splash.
Oh, you're
album
gonna
then?
guess.
You're on the right
Oh,
track.
you're gonna guess.
Because that's Ford
Okay.
Ranger Splash. That's
Oh,
good.
hell
2003 though.
I asked if it was out yet. I don't know.
No, it's not. Man, the early 2000s throws me.
I'm seeing
Go ahead.
like late 90s white S10 two-wheel drive.
That's a
Is that round,
honestly, that's a lazy
round
guess.
or square
That's
body?
a lazy guess.
That's
Was,
a round.
was your vehicle
Really?
new or used?
Real used.
Real used.
We
Hand me
already
down.
covered
Are we
it.
playing Guess Who? Like you're
Hand
flipping
me,
things down?
hand me down or you bought it. Hand me down or you bought
I
it.
bought it.
Oh. Okay. 2003. That's an 85 square body truck. I'm going with that. 85. Very specific. It's an 85.
I don't think those trucks live down there in that
They did.
salty
You're wrong.
climate.
They did.
They're huge.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, then fire away. What do we got?
I already. First running car was that 78 Nova. I have a 86 square body now.
1 year off. Very specific on the year.
Okay.
When you fucking feel it, you fucking feel it.
Nicely done.
I'll kiss your ass if you can guess mine.
I don't even know.
On air.
We'll ask the same questions. 16, what year?
16, that was 2017-ish?
What?
What?
No. No, I'm sorry.
You're like 2 years older, right?
That's like 2006.
Aren't you like 38?
Oh.
Yeah,
No.
how-
Hang on, I gotta think. I graduated. Yeah. So that'd be,
I don't think he's got his
What
license.
year did you graduate?
no. So I
What year
graduated
did-
at 03, so that was probably like, what, 2000?
2000,
Yeah.
2001.
Yeah. Sorry.
2002, and that was in Pensacola.
No, I
Ish
was
area?
in J.
Where?
I was in the country.
Yeah.
Where? Where did you say?
Florida?
You said J.
J. Yeah.
J.
So picture where our shop is now and make it more
About
desolate.
35 minutes north of our shop.
More towards Macon or
Lower
more
Ala-
towards?
more closer to Alabama, very close to Alabama.
Holy shit.
Yeah, towards
Very
Macon.
close to
Okay.
Alabama.
Okay.
Like
So
towards
you had-
Near to Bruton.
north.
Yeah,
So-
yeah,
northeast.
Very close to Bruton. Next door to Bruton.
So you had shoes.
Ew.
You didn't have a car. You had shoes.
All right. Now
Yeah.
we're,
I'll
Ben
take
and
a,
Pat.
what is a bus pass?
we're fixing
No buses.
2000, 2001.
That's tough.
You bought it or your parents gave it to you?
It was parents' car that I had to drive.
I think
Parents'
I got
car
it.
you had to drive.
I think
It's
I
a
got it.
LeBaron.
dude. No. I got it,
New
dude.
Yorker.
Late 80s four-door Cavalier in like a tannish color.
Good guess.
Interesting. The parents' car threw me for a loop. I got nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing.
But
I'm
you
not
gonna stick,
blanking.
you gonna stick with
Think.
bus pass.
I want to go Crown Vic,
Cop car.
but I'm also saying LTD.
What's the
That's
difference?
the same car. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a
I
generic.
try to get very if something speaks. I'm going Crown Vic.
It was a 98 Olds 88.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Front wheel drive.
Like-
Thought it was a fucking race car.
What year?
Gray with
It was
gray.
in 98, but they called it in 88.
Oh, old 90. Old
So 98,
98, old
that-
88.
Was it champagne?
That is-
color?
Yeah, it was. It was fucking
The
champagne.
wire wheel covers.
Yes.
You open the doors
That
and
was
it's got the
3600
lights.
engine.
Yeah.
That was a GM 3600
That had-
engine. It was fast. It
That
was
had
That
some
motherfucker
curves
was
to it.
600
nasty.
horsepower derated to 104.
Pontiac GTP.
Yeah.
Damn.
Hey,
Fuck
you
y'all
win
up.
some, you lose some. You got to take the shot.
Yeah.
Don't ever stop taking the shot.
Right.
That's the best piece of
You,
advice
you
I
miss
can give.
100% of the shots you don't take.
That's what LeBron said.
LeBron doesn't say
Gretzky.
shit. Yeah. That's what Jordan said.
I know.
That's
I'm
what
giving you shit.
Tim Grover said, the guy that trained Jordan.
Oh,
Oh,
it's fucking
let's
somebody
get deeper here.
a little schooled, huh?
That's what Lee Harvey
Chicago.
Oswald said.
He took a couple.
He said that's what Lee Harvey Oswald.
Oh my God.
We're not going anywhere. That's the best fucking on 3 years of this fucking podcast. The best fucking comments that I've heard. Big thanks again to Cody and Adam. Remember, you can keep up with Velocity's work at Velocity Restorations. You've got an Instagram, Cody
At Dabaruski.
at
Spell that
Dabarooski.
out.
Dabarooski.
Atta boy.
Look at you.
AK King 5252.
And as always, at Velocity Restorations. Remember, if you like the episode, leave a rating and a review. If you're in it for this long, please leave a review. If you've hung around to this point to hear that awesome fucking comment,
Then
which I'm gonna have a fucking shirt made of.
That's a good one. Leave a review.
Leave a review.
How
Oh, man.
superior Cody is
To Josh.
to Josh.
Fuck off.